On today's Pardon My Take, UConn wins the national title. We put a bow on the 2023 NCAA tournament, talking about the national championship game, talking about the tournament in general. We also are turning the page. We have Masters preview for everyone. Look at that. We're right away, bang, right on to the next one. We have Max Homa for a little pump up, getting his mind right for Augusta this weekend. And then we have Shane Bacon on to break down the entire field, some long shots, some course changes. He's going to tell us all about the Masters. And we finish with some FAQs. Just me and PFT on this show. Hank's on vacation. Jake is Big Jane in Houston. Billy is living his best life. So we're going to go old school, and it's brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. It's created by fans for fans. Game Time is a ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. We use Game Time. Well, Memes and I didn't use Game Time. We used the other guys when we sat up in the upper deck at the NRG Stadium. The other guys had great seats because of Game Time. Game Time has also turned the page, and we have concerts coming up, summer concert season, Dead & Company, last tour, MLB games. MLB is back. We got playoff games, NBA, NHL, everything is possible with Game Time. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. The purchase process just takes 2 taps, 10 seconds, and once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share with friends via text, so you can get into the game seamlessly, skip the hassle, enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, redeem code PMT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download that Game Time app and redeem code PMT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Thank you to Game Time, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take. Today is Wednesday, April 5th, and the Connecticut Huskies are officially basketball royalty.
Dan Hurley has painted his masterpiece. UConn is officially a blue blood now, right?
Officially, they have hemophilia.
Welcome to the blue blood club. That means that your ancestors were doing some incest.
Yes.
Dabbling in some sisterhood.
And your uncle might be a pedophile.
Well, that's okay in this circumstance.
Yes.
Because you're basketball royalty. You've made it. You've joined all the other blue teams that are blue bloods.
Yes.
So I think they kick Villanova out, right? And then they move.
Villanova's out.
Into its place.
Villanova's out. UConn has won their 5th title in the last 24 years. UConn is also the only second team all time to win titles in 4 consecutive decades. So they won in 99. They won 2004. They won 2010 and 2011, 2014, and now they've won 2023. So that's 4 consecutive decades. The only other team to do that, North Carolina. So they are basketball royalty. I don't know. I know we have the debate about blue bloods, all this stuff. 5 in 24 years is insane.
And they've done it with 3 different head coaches, too.
3 different head coaches. Shout out Kevin Ollie.
Kevin Ollie laid the foundation to build up UConn basketball.
Kevin Ollie is Fredo.
Yep.
It's I guess Jim Calhoun would be Sonny, and then Dan Hurley would be Michael Corleone, which is perfect.
Banners fly forever, though.
Yeah.
And before we dive further into this championship game, I'd just like to say thank you for being my friend.
Yes.
Jim Nance with his sign off at the end.
Goodbye.
Thank you for being my friend. He claims that it was not a play on the hello friends. He just thinks everybody's his friend. That's just how he addresses people.
I'll say it. I'm his friend, and I enjoyed him on the podium after was it the commissioner of the NCAA or someone from the NCAA who was getting a little too close to Jim. It was a little weird whenever that guy, whoever presents the trophy, is always like, it's a weird position to be in because like no one's there to see you, dude. And then Jim Nance tried to make Dan Hurley cry, which he probably was grabbing his butt when he did that. But it was a hell of a tournament run. Like, we could talk about the full tournament in a minute, but UConn, what they did, They beat every single team by double digits. They were trailing in just 13% of their games total. So 6 games, they were trailing for 31 minutes of game time, 13%, and they were only trailing for 55 seconds of a second half.
Crazy.
It's insane. They absolutely wasted everyone. Their total average that they beat teams by was 20 points per game, and it was the 4th largest average win margin since the field expanded to 64 teams in 1985. And Dan Hurley, what he said couldn't have been more true when he's like, once we got out of the Big East play, we're a different team. They ended up on the season 17-0 against non-conference opponents, and they beat all of those non-conference opponents by 10-plus points.
Except San Diego State, kind of a Big East opponent.
But
we're not counting that.
But that run, like, I know people will talk about this tournament not living up to the hype, which I totally disagree with. UConn was the story, and their dominance and what they did, and Dan Hurley has arrived officially as a coach of the national title. He feels like he's the next era, which I love, because Dan Hurley is like a throwback to the next era. He's got that scowl. He's got that anger. He was Zen-like tonight because his team is that good.
He drinks piss.
He drinks urine. He is you know what, PFT? The NCAA basketball, it's in good hands with Dan Hurley.
It really is. I think that we can say maybe the Hurleys are the first family of basketball.
Yeah, I would say so. First family, part of my take right now.
LeVar Ball, the Ball family.
The Ball family.
Maybe first family. But yeah, first family part of my take for sure right now. What a run. Shout out to Jake for getting an exclusive with Coach Dan Hurley after the game.
Yep.
Dan Hurley definitely remembered the name of the podcast, part of my take. Did not require any nudging whatsoever from Jake.
He did it.
But yeah, great story for him. I'm happy for him because you could definitely make the case like, okay, going into this tournament, saying like nobody believed in UConn. I think a lot of people believed in UConn. But a lot of people never believed that Danny Hurley would ever reach this level.
And, I mean, yeah, a lot of people believe in UConn. They were a 4 seed. They were not the team that everyone was looking towards. Everyone thought, it was going to be Alabama or Kansas back-to-back. They were like when the tourney started, there were people who picked him, but they definitely weren't the team that everyone was looking at being like, this team is as dominant as they come. But when you look at their season, they were that team in November and December. They had a little blip in January, and then February, March, April, they were that team again. They were a very worthy national champion that dominated tournament play.
So another little fun stat here. This one's from recurring guest John Rothstein.
Okay.
Dan Hurley, the carpenter.
Oh.
No, here's the real stat. UConn is the first team in the history of the NCAA tournament to win 6 games by at least 13 points.
Wow.
Just dominating everybody.
So better than the 2018 Villanova team.
Well, now it's time to ask the question, is this the greatest college basketball team of all time?
I think we should probably ask that. What do you think, Max?
I think they're definitely in the conversation, Max. Do you agree?
I think they have to face someone better than a 3 seed and probably...
You play who you play.
You play who you play.
Yeah, well, I mean...
You play who you play.
They didn't play anybody the whole tournament. They didn't play the Alabama.
Yeah, they did. They played. Yes, they did, Max. Yes, they did. They played who they played.
Yeah, well, Nova beat real teams.
Okay.
And then also we should shout out Sonogo, who was outstanding. He wins most outstanding player. I don't know why they don't call it just most valuable player, but his tournament run was insane. He just dominated. Even tonight, like there was a couple of times when he was on the bench, San Diego State sort of didn't go away, even though in retrospect, like, they cut it to 5 with, I don't know, it was like maybe 6 minutes left. But every time they needed a big bucket, it was either Jordan Hawkins or Sonogo coming through with that big moment, big rebound. He was just an absolute force. And UConn's defense, which I talked about on Monday's show, was just insane. Like every time their opponents got in the paint, they just had an answer for them. And nothing was easy, and you could see it. I know San Diego State wasn't the best offensive team, but they were just getting absolutely stonewalled at every spot, and they were guarding at the three-point line, across half court. Like, just their defense got slept on because it was that dominant in this run.
There was one play in particular, I think it was Mensah on San Diego State, one of their bigs, tried to back down Sonogo and tried to throw some bows at him, threw a hip and a shoulder into him, and it looked like a Volkswagen Beetle just driving into a brick wall.
He
just like bounced off it, and at that point, you know that's too much man you're going up against.
Do you know what it reminded me of? I gotta try to find it real quick. The old remember Brian Windhorst tweet about LeBron in 2017. Every time someone has a play like that where it's like just pure strength, it's stupid. It's really like my life is too much about sports and just like sports memory flashbacks. I found it. So it was Windhorst in 2017. As far as LeBron recovering and not being injured, he has more equipment in his home than most colleges, and he is so strong. That's what I like. That's what I think of. I just think like when Sanogo did that, I just was in my head. I was just thinking of Brian Windhorst being like, and he is so strong.
Well, Sanogo throughout this tournament is probably the only person, not LeBron James, who has actually gained weight during basketball games.
Yes,
because he was playing. It's Ramadan. He wasn't able to eat. Maybe he ate before the game. I'm not sure what that was like, but for some games he was not able to eat before halftime. You know, what do you pound at halftime if you're Sanogo and you can't eat in the first half? I think it's simple: lemon lime Gatorade and strawberry Uncrustable.
Maybe a banana.
Maybe banana. Yeah,
one banana, strawberry Uncrustable, maybe like a handful of almonds.
Yeah,
that feels like get a little salt.
Yeah, and he was so good tonight. He's just a big meaty dude.
He's strong. He is so strong.
He's so strong.
Brian Windhorst, and he is so strong.
The only strategy that San Diego State had was step on their shoes.
Yeah,
give them flat tires and make it annoying to try to play defense with one sock.
And it worked a little bit. And I know, like this game wasn't the best. But I really do think that watching it, you're like, this is way more about UConn just being so dominant defensively. They were that good. They were that good. Tristan Newton was great. They were just there. I mean, Joey Calcaterra, like that guy's got just springs on his legs. Like he was just bouncing around. Caravan, and shout out Andrew Hurley, who played in all 6 tournament games. That's how good UConn was, that Andrew Hurley got in all 6 tournament games.
He's classy. That's a class act.
That was classy.
He demonstrated so much class at the end of the game by not shooting. I think Dan Hurley actually told him, you can see him like raise his hand up and be like, don't take that 3. Don't take that 3. I know you want to. I wanted to see him take a 3.
I kind of wanted to see a moment that we could just furiously debate online because I realized that after Sunday, the LSU Angel, what was her name? Angel Reese. And Caitlin Clark issue, I was like, let's just have this on every game where we can just debate this for 24 hours. It means nothing. It's stupid, but why not? Just Andrew Hurley, jack a 3 right in their face.
Yeah, the game, you're right, it wasn't the best game. The conversation maybe we should have about UConn, this is always a fun one, instead of are they the best men's college basketball team of all time, are they the greatest champion of all time?
Ooh.
Because they're playing this tournament. I mean, it was just dominant. It was dominant. I'd say that they are the greatest champion of all time.
By the way, we have breaking news. Jake is on the floor as we speak.
Today's part of my tape guest, Bobby Hurley. So we had you on today, your brother on last week. UConn undefeated since both of you have come on. I mean, how do you feel? You had your moment,
nice.
Like you mentioned on the show, your dad had his moment, and you wanted your brother to have his moment. Now he has his. How do you feel now?
He's worked so hard for this moment. He's so deserving. He's so talented at what he does. I saw this day coming for him. I had a chance to work with him.
All right. Well, Jake's questions are just very.
I am so disappointed in Jake. No, not because of how like normal his questions are, because that's Jake, baby.
Yeah, that's Jake. That's Jake. We'll love him or hate him. We love him.
Yes, but I'm disappointed. That's the all-time. That's wild.
Yeah.
And he didn't say this is wild.
Yeah.
His brother was on the show. Then he was on the show. Then his brother never lost a game. That's fucking wild,
That's wild.
Jake.
It was only 2 games, but that is wild.
It's wild
It
that
is
that
wild.
happened.
But yeah, Jake's doing a lot of like talk about.
Yeah.
What's
going through your head right now?
Jake is doing a great job of getting he had Ray Allen, he had Dan Hurley, but here's my promise to the people. Next year, PFT and I are going to try to get credentialed for this because it feels like everyone gets a credential. So we're going to do our own interviews on the court.
Tuxedos.
Yeah, and let's just hope St. John's is in the Final Four.
Yes.
Holy shit.
I love Coach Pitino.
I love Coach Pitino too.
Class.
Quick update, by the way, because we never shared it. We might as well. I've said this before, but I have a stalker who texts me every now and then anytime we make a Rick Pitino joke. He popped back up this past week when Rick Pitino went to St. John's and was threatening PFT this time. And then he said that he was in Houston and gave us a meetup time. Didn't show. He said he was with Rick Pitino. Obviously, we're getting fucked with, but it's good. It's good to wake up and be like, yeah, my stalker's still coming after me.
Yeah, and we're ready, Rick.
We like Rick Pitino.
I like Rick Pitino.
We want him on the show.
He's a fantastic coach.
We rooting for St. John's. All right, so Jake is on the floor getting all these interviews. Great job by Jake.
We should say that, like, obviously the game, not that entertaining. It was the story of fouls in the second half.
Yes.
UConn got into the bonus super early. So they had a bunch of 90-foot fouls where they get fouled underneath their own basket.
Yep.
And then everybody walks calmly to the end of the court, and then they make both free throws. And you can't come back from that if you're San Diego State. I was talking to Titus about it as it was happening. Like, well, the rest of this game, the last 10 minutes are just going to be nothing but free throws. And he made the point that was probably San Diego State's strategy, was to foul, like be very physical with UConn and just hope that the refs don't call it every time.
Yeah.
The refs called it every time.
Every time.
And I don't think it was a poorly officiated game. It was overly officiated, maybe you could say.
The second half felt like that.
But the fouls, I think, were legit fouls for the most part.
Yes. And, so let's talk about the full tournament, because I do think there's been this weird narrative that this tournament sucked. I think it's a lot of people who didn't watch the tournament, who just don't like college basketball, which is fine.
Respect to those people that didn't watch it and they're like, this sucks.
Yeah, right. And there are some media members who literally just didn't watch it and they're like, there's no good storylines.
That's how a lot of people are with the Live Tour, which is golf but louder, but nobody watches it.
Nobody watches it. I think this was – so the Final Four, I think we got – obviously last year we got spoiled with the Duke, UNC, and Kansas and Villanova. Although, in retrospect, only 3 blue bloods out of that.
We thought at the time, but we were young and foolish.
Max, you want to say anything? Max is just shaking his head.
Nah, I don't have anything to say other than fuck off.
Okay. All right,
Max has had a long day when the hair's down.
Max has been drunk and sober like 4 times today.
No, I was just drunk and then sober. It was just one time. I'm so sunburnt right now.
That's interesting, because when I saw Max in the pool and he was drinking like a red and white, what was it?
It was Miami Vice.
It was Miami Vice. I was like, Max, you look like your drink right now. You're so sunburned. He goes, I'm fucking Italian. I don't sunburn.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
To be fair, what?
To be fair, I mean, this was a long trip. We worked hard this trip.
Yeah.
Today was our off day.
No, I wasn't saying anything about that. I was saying that
you didn't take a bath, but you did a good job.
You told me that you don't get sunburned, and now you're saying I'm so fucking sunburned.
Yeah. I mean, everyone needs a base sunburn for the summer. It's just getting a little early this year.
Out on the golf course today, Max and Memes were just looking at each other, and they were both a little drunk from the day. And Memes was like, am I really red?
Yeah.
And Memes was really red, and Max looked at him, and Max was like super bright red. He was like, no, dude, you're not that red. You're good. And Memes was like, yeah, you're not that red either.
No, you guys deserve
We're both just normal guys.
Yeah, and we are. People are probably like, what the hell are they talking about? We are recording right after the game, so it's Monday night, because we have a full travel day. We're in Louisiana, so we have to drive 2 hours and then fly back to New York. So if anything crazy happens on Tuesday in the sports world, we will update it Tuesday night. Otherwise, you're just listening to the raw dog right after the game, reactions.
Brain dump.
So the tournament, I think we had it all. I know that there wasn't the 1 seeds in the Final Four, all that, but we had an all-time upset with Fairleigh Dickinson. Princeton just gets like completely erased from history because of Fairleigh Dickinson. They went to the Sweet 16 as a 15 seed. You had an all-time tournament personal run by Marquise Noel, which was like, if you didn't watch the tournament, Marquise Noel dominated the second weekend. His performances at Madison Square Garden were out of this world, like appointment television. You had
5'8" confirmed, by the way.
5'8"
we got
confirmed.
to interview him on Barstool Live. Him and I, exact same size,
yeah.
5'8".
You had Furman winning against Virginia. There was a bunch of upsets, whatever. And then you had Final Four, 3 insane runs of schools that had never been to the Final Four in Miami, FAU, and San Diego State. And then you had UConn, the dominant team that steamrolled the entire tournament, to kind of put a cherry on top with some incredible players, an incredible coach. I don't know. This tournament delivered. It always delivers. And it's the fucking March Madness. I love this tournament so much.
And we had the first buzzer beater coming from behind in the Final Four to win a game
Yes.
in San Diego State FAU. There was a lot of stuff. I mean, there were tons of upsets. People say that they like upsets. They like underdogs. Well, guess what? Go out back and smoke an entire pack of underdogs.
Yeah.
Because this delivered in spades. It didn't have the brand names, which some people don't like. You always hear people say, like, oh, I like the underdogs. I like it when they win in the
Early,
opening rounds. But then after that, you want the big name schools. That's fun sometimes. But it was very cool to see all these schools that never thought that they'd have a chance to win a single game advance throughout the tournament, and a lot of them make it very, very far. It's like unprecedented levels. So I liked it. I enjoyed the tournament.
And at the end of the day, you got the champion that was most deserving. Like UConn, 17-0 in non-conference, 10-plus points every single opponent. They were phenomenal. Like, that's the thing is I understand the thought process of the underdogs getting really, deep into the tournament ruins it later. But that's also part of, like, you don't want to have a weird outcome where it feels like the best team won.
Yeah.
UConn was the best team this year. They deserve the title. I'm giving this tournament, maybe it wasn't an A+, but I actually don't think any tournament could be less than an A, so I'm giving it an A.
I'm giving it 5 balls.
Okay, there we go. So, again, it's just some people, and it's fine. Some people like to talk about NBA all year, or they want to talk about, I don't know what other sports are going, or MLB just started. Yeah, sure. March is for the NCAA tournament, and it always delivers.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just said March. My only gripe is that March should have 35 days. The
Yeah.
NCAA tournament should end in March.
It should.
It's tough because I consider
should.
this an all-time March moment for UConn.
Although I like that it finished in April, because I can be like, well, March was a pretty bad gambling month, but April fucking rocked.
We're up. We're all
Yeah,
We're up.
yeah.
So we're on a
You
live
just
stream.
separate 'em.
And I don't think that there's ever been a live stream in the history of this company where everybody won
It
their
felt
bets.
great.
It does feel.
It felt
It
fucking
feels
great.
good to win one. You know.
I know those sickos and perverts.
Sorry,
when they got a
guys.
5-point game with 6 minutes left, they're like, this is going to be an all-time loss for UConn, and Big Cat's going to cry on a stream, and I would have cried. But you didn't get it. Not this time. You know why? Because I didn't have that loser max attached to me. Mm-hmm. And that's how you take one across the finish line.
So I do have my hot seat is Max. I'll just jump ahead.
Well, yeah, let me do the ad, and we'll get into Hot Seat
Okay.
Cool Throne. All right. Hot Seat Cool Throne is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in an accident, Morgan & Morgan makes it easy for you. File a claim online, upload pictures, evidence, text your lawyer, get a settlement direct deposited, do almost everything from your phone. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Over 800 lawyers nationwide, over $15 billion recovered so far, over 100 offices, over 30 years of experience. The fee is free. You only pay if you win. We have met the Morgan & Morgan guys. Awesome people. You can trust them. That is the Morgan & Morgan difference. They're the America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com/PMT or dial pound law. Pound law. That rules that they got pound law. Mm-hmm. Pound law to start a claim today. forthepeople.com/PMT or dial pound law to start a claim today. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, and also, I'll say it, personal friends of mine, because we met him a couple times. We hung out with Dan Morgan. He's a great dude. So Morgan & Morgan, you can trust these guys. And if you've been injured in an accident, Morgan & Morgan makes it easier for you. Visit forthepeople.com/PMT or dial pound law to start a claim. PFT, Hot Seat Cool Throne.
My hot seat is Max.
Oh.
Max is on the hot seat, not just for all the reasons that we've said above, where how Villanova has been removed from the Blue Bloods and UConn is in, but also because Max bet against UConn every single game of this tournament.
You did?
Yeah, he bet San Diego State
What?
money line
What?
and San Diego State against the spread.
No, Max.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley, best coach in the Big East.
Max, you just
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue Kyle Neptune is.
you just got no hit in
You
March
got no
Madness.
Yeah, I had no hits on UConn.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got no
I
hit.
mean-
That's a no hitter.
That's a no-hitter.
I guess.
Dude, that's... At any point were you like, UConn might actually be good?
No, I knew the entire time that UConn was good, but
Very good.
it was against my.
But see, shouldn't you have been like, hey, they're really good, might as well win money?
The whole moral hedge thing is a bunch of bullshit. Like,
It's not in his
No,
DNA.
but when they're that good,
I know. Honestly, I told you this earlier, that if I didn't pick UCLA, I would have picked UConn, because everyone was sending me those stats of like only these 5 teams can make it, and UConn had the best odds, but I couldn't get myself to pull for UConn. So
I respect
that was the number one. That was the number. Yes,
you could have won like 20 grand tonight.
I respect that though. That Max is a real fit. Max is a good sports town.
Yeah, good job, Max.
Also, another good sports
good
town.
job, Max.
Cool Throne, Stores, Connecticut.
Yeah,
Student athletes win a national championship game, and then the entire town just starts picking up light poles and smashing in door windows.
and flipping cars. Yeah,
Flipping cars.
Rules.
What a great way to celebrate a victory.
Got to be the coolest thing to win a title when you're a student at a school.
In college, yeah.
Yeah, I can attest.
I can attest that too.
Non-commuters.
I still was on campus for the game. I didn't have any friends on campus, but I was there.
JMU Division I AA National Championships 2004.
There you go.
Who can forget?
Wisconsin. They won 2006, Frozen 4. Huge.
That's so sick for you.
My cool throne is Dogecoin.
Oh, yeah.
Dogecoin spiked today because Elon put the Doge dog on the home screen of Twitter whenever you loaded it up. Last night, I responsibly ran out of money in my Barstool Sportsbook account, and I had been holding Doge. Hodling?
Yeah, hodling.
I've been hodling
Your
Doge.
diamond hands.
I had diamond hands. I was waiting to go to the moon patiently, and I've had it for like 3 years. It increased in value. It dipped way back down, and then I was just hodling it. And I liquidated my Doge account last night.
All your assets.
All my assets in Doge, I liquidated so that I could put money into my account to bet on the tournament. And then 7 hours later,
Yeah.
Elon changes the fucking home screen of Twitter to Doge, the Doge dog, and then the stock shoots up 100%. That's fucking horseshit.
You got your Dogecoin got doink bet.
I did. It was a doink. It was a doink all over again. I got double doinked.
I couldn't believe it when I went on Twitter this morning. I was like, what is this? And then I realized what it was, and then I saw all the people being like, Doge is ripping. And I was like, oh no, PFT sold all
It was on the moon. Although, Spin Zone, I made more money betting on this game than I would have.
There you go.
I more than doubled my money.
You need that.
Because I hit everything tonight.
Yeah.
So, in your face, Elon, I'm not paying for that blue check.
Yeah.
Unless,
Well, we might.
maybe.
Well, we now that Jake's not in the room, we might.
If you can hide my likes on certain tweets, I'll pay for that.
You need a horny tab?
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it then. I don't know.
Hank needs a remember Hank? Nah.
No.
We did tape Lottery Ball, which we shouldn't have because he's not on this episode. He's on vacation.
We have certain conversations offline on this podcast that stay offline.
Yeah, right, exactly. But we did tape the Lottery Ball, so that will still happen with Hank at the end. Okay, my hot seat, I have 2. Number 1, Joe Biden. So Joe Biden.
You say Jill or Joe?
Jill.
Okay.
Jill Biden.
Dr. Jill?
Dr. Jill Biden invited LSU and Iowa to the White House. That's fucking bullshit. You can't do that.
That's fucked up.
You cannot do that.
That's
Iowa lost.
They lost. Has this ever
That's
happened
like, you know
before?
what that is? Classless move.
It's playing both sides.
It's classless move.
It is classless.
It's classless move. You can't do that. If I were LSU, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm not coming now. No, because then actually I would probably show up. But either way, learn how fucking sports work. I feel like this entire LSU Iowa game just it like shook everyone where everyone forgot how sports work for a minute, where they're talking about classy, classless, you can't shit talk. Yes, you can. You shit talk, you run up the score, you point to your finger when you win a ring, you do the John Cena, and then you get invited to the White House and the team that lost doesn't get invited to the White House. That's how sports work.
I agree with that. 1,000,000%. It doesn't happen in other sports.
No.
Nor should it happen in other sports.
Yeah, bullshit. You know what it is, Jill? Dr. Jill Biden, you're not treating them as equals, as men. Because I don't see them. I don't think San Diego State's getting an invite.
You're almost just protecting them.
Yeah, bullshit. I don't know what I'm gonna have to explain this all to my daughter. It's gonna be terrible.
Would you ever go to the White House after losing something?
No.
I think Max would just live in Washington D.C. if that were the case.
All right, my other hot seat. My other hot seat is anyone who owns Dalmatians, because Vince McMahon looks like he's about to steal 100 Dalmatians. He unveiled his new look today. I think he made like $5 billion. So WWE got sold to Endeavor, which Ari Emanuel, they already own UFC. Vince McMahon sold 51%. He's still going to be part of the WWE, still going to like make moves. He's still going to be the boss. But he made, I think it was like somewhere like $4 or $5 billion personally.
The company was rumored to sell for $9 billion.
Right. So he made so much money today. He bought the WWE from his father for $1 million in like 1982. So pretty good return on investment. But he went and did the rounds on all the shows. And he has this pencil thin mustache above his lip that makes him look like Vince McMahon already is the evil boss. He just took it to a different level.
I mean, the man is a showman, and if you're going to be accused of being a pervert left and right, and all these people come out and say all these weird things about you, and how you're a creepy old dude, of course Vince McMahon is going to lean into that costume and grow a tiny little mustache.
Yes.
That's day one playbook stuff for him in WWE. So he's fucking rich now, huh?
Very, very rich.
What is Vince McMahon? I don't think money really matters to Vince McMahon. He's just going to use that money to just make more wrestling.
Yeah.
It's all going back. They're keeping him around, right?
Yeah, no, he's going to be, I think his official title, let me find this. I was reading this article a minute ago. I think his official title is still like director of WWE or so. Oh, executive chairman. Well, so he's gonna still be the executive chairman.
You know that old saying, like, if you have money, you just become more of what you were before. Like, if you gave me $9 billion, I would just buy a shitload of soup.
Yeah.
If you give a creepy old man $9 billion, he's going to become a super creepy old man with a child molester mustache.
Yes, the pencil thin mustache. It was quite a look. Quite a look. Also, shout out Shane O'Mac. I think he tore his ACL.
Yeah, but he battled through it.
He tried. Clip. Yeah, I don't know wherever Joey Abs and Pete Gas are right now. I wish they had come out and saved him. But yeah, he was in WrestleMania. He was doing his thing and tore his ACL. Tried to stand up, flopped back down. Snoop Dogg had to save him. But yeah, that was. Win some, lose some.
That's such a classic WWE recap. Snoop Dogg came out.
Yes,
of course.
Saved him, yeah.
Of course he did.
It's got to kind of suck because Shane O'Mac probably made a shitload of money today too, but he's like got crutches.
I would kind of love that, though.
I wouldn't want to win money like that.
That's like the ultimate bonus. It's like not only are we giving you a couple $100 million, but also a doctor's orders, you're not allowed to exercise for the next 6 months.
I always feel so bad. It's like when you win like a title and a guy gets injured in the game, I always feel so bad that they can't party like fully because they got like a boot on or they got like their arm in a sling.
Yeah, but if somebody told me, congratulations, $100 million, don't try to work out, and also here's a couple Vicodin.
Yeah, true. But like Odell Beckham, like that had to suck. He wanted to go crazy when the Rams won.
Oh, I'm sure that didn't completely stop Odell Beckham.
He wants $15 million.
In real money, or like he handed out the fake money that he handed out to LSU?
He wants $15 million. That's the word on the street.
So do I.
My cool throne is the Detroit Tigers. They are the last team to get their first win of the MLB season. So they beat the Astros tonight. And congratulations to Detroit Tigers. The last team to get their first win. Every other team has a win. So congrats to the Tigers.
Javier Baez.
This is bullshit.
What?
The Phillies do not have a win yet.
What?
Oh, you got no. You got no wind?
No, dude.
I don't know how this ended up being a podcast about me.
Dude, are you serious? I didn't know that. You want to cut this part?
Yeah, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Wait, the Phillies don't have any wins?
It's 4 games into the season. Who cares?
But every other team has a win.
Who cares?
Yeah, but you got Hoskins coming back.
Yeah. You already did this. You already did this bit once.
I was watching. The Tigers were they had an extra inning game against the Astros, and since we're in Louisiana, the Astros are technically the home team. So I was watching out of the corner of my eye during the national title, being like, I hope the Tigers win so I could do exactly this on the podcast.
I'd like to give another shout out just specifically to Louisiana.
Yeah.
Best place in the world.
The best.
I have one more thing to say. Fuck ESPN Yeah, the Phillies played on Sunday Night Baseball yesterday, and for whatever reason, they made the most detailed graphic of all time, just being like, hey, by the way, did you know that the Philly is just coming second in every single thing this year? And I was like, watch Sunday Night Baseball. And I was like, watch Sunday Night Baseball tonight. What the fuck does the Union losing the MLS have to do with Sunday Night Baseball of Phillies Rangers?
A lot.
Is nothing.
A lot.
It was it was just so people could just fucking tweet at me the graphic and be like, hey, Max, did you see this? Did you see this? Philly loses every championship. I know they lose.
Okay, Sixers will definitely win.
Max, you should actually be thanking that Hank exists because Hank's not here, so you're getting all of our jokes.
I love that. I love that for Hank. And
So wait, the
myself.
Phillies really don't have a win?
No, the Phillies do not have a win. I don't.
But
care.
wasn't opening day like? It feels like 10 years ago because we've been on the road for a while.
I feel like we were in Austin 50 years.
Yeah, I mean,
ago.
it's all of March is just. I just miss my kids. I just want to go home.
I miss my bed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Miss my dog.
Coming home to your bed is so nice.
Yeah, we're gonna get home. We're gonna do it. Bring the boys home. Bring the boys home. Let's do it. Sorry that the Phillies don't have a win. I didn't know that before I said that.
Yeah, I know you're really upset about it.
All right, guess what? We have Masters talk. It is what a great turnaround. The sports gods really do it correctly with the tournament, like the most intense month in the sports calendar. And then they're just like, here's a really nice, easy thing to watch for the entire weekend. You can sit on your couch. I'm a little worried about the weather, by the way. Nothing bums me out more than Masters being bad weather.
Well, so if it rains early in the week, that's good, right?
No, but it's
if it rains early in the week, that means that the course is ready to get fucked.
There's a chance we might have a Monday Masters finish, which would kind of rule.
You remember when the U.S. Open had that Monday finish a while back?
Yeah, Rocco Mediate.
Rocco Mediate, Tiger Woods, 18-hole playoff, an extra round of just Tiger Woods. Nobody got any work done.
None.
By the way, all the freaks out there online, all the economy watchers that keep reminding people how much money is stolen via time theft of people at work not paying attention to work and watching sports on TV, go fuck yourself.
Also, yeah, fuck yourself because
it's Labor Month. We get a month to steal all that time back.
yeah, don't you realize that America does it the right way? We're not like one of these fancy European countries that takes all the summer off. We work every single day, 365 days a year, morning, noon, and night. And then when we go to work, we take no vacations. And when we go to work, we just don't work.
Yeah.
It's the perfect system.
Unless you're Hank Lockwood.
Yeah, but that is. It's a
Hank's
perfect
very
system.
European.
Listen, this is America, baby. Vacations are frowned upon. You know when I take my vacation? Every fucking day when I go to work and I fuck off. That's what you do. Someone listening to this right now is nodding their head. They're like, I'm at work right now. Maybe they're watching on the YouTube. They're like, guess what I'm doing? Not working.
We mastered the art of getting paid to not work.
Right. Exactly. I think I said it, a couple weeks ago, where I was like, the worst thing you could have your boss ever figure out is that you could do all of your work in like 4 hours. Because you could.
But never tell your boss that.
And also don't do that. Just do little bits and pieces of work. Like a squirrel hiding nuts before the winter.
If there's somebody that does 6 hours of work while at work, you're working way too hard.
Chill out.
Chill out. You're making all of us look
overachiever. Bad. All right, Masters weather real quick before we get to our preview. 74% chance of rain on Friday, 91% chance of rain on Saturday, 74% chance of rain on Sunday.
Play the Masters in a dome.
This is bad. This is really bad. It just bums me out.
The birds aren't going to be out. How is this going to affect the azaleas? That's what I want to know.
We need to just stop weather for a week. All right, so we do have Masters preview. Max Homa, pump up with him, and then we have Shane Bacon to break down the whole course and everything, and give you some long shots. And guess what? We're brought to you by our friends at Top Golf. Your favorite place in the world to go is Top Golf. We love going to Top Golf. Love getting your bay. Getting your drinks, your food, sitting there having a great time, little competition with your friends at Top Golf, maybe go on a date. Top Golf is the best place ever because you don't even have to golf. It doesn't matter. Everyone can play Top Golf, even if no one can golf. Food and beverage, great place, great meal. Go, like I said, for a date, maybe a Saturday afternoon. There's TVs. You can watch the Masters while you Topgolf. It is super comfortable there. They got couches. They have heated bays in the winter, cooled bays in the summer. It's the best place in the world. You can't top Topgolf because it's got everything for you. So it's golf. It's not golf. It's Topgolf. Download the app, book a bay, and come play around. We were at Topgolf a few weeks ago. It is seriously so much fun. You show up, you get a bay, you have a couch, you have a TV, you play the games. There's all types of different games you can play to keep it interesting with your friends. Or maybe you just want to try to work on a couple shots, but have a little bit better than the driving range. Topgolf has it all. It's golf. It's not golf. It's Topgolf. Download the app, book a bay, and come play around with Topgolf. Thank you, Topgolf, our wonderful sponsor. We got to go to Topgolf again. We love Topgolf. All right, here he is, our good friend, Max Homa. Okay, it is Masters Week, and we thought we'd have on one of our favorite guests, Max Homa, before Augusta. This is not an interview. This is a just guys pumping each other up session. We're just getting ready for Augusta. It's the biggest tournament of our lives. And I say that meaning all three of us here. Hank's not in the room. He doesn't like you. And neither is Max. He's probably getting I think he's at a doctor's appointment. That probably won't go well for him. So how are we feeling mentally, Max?
Good. Do you think Max or Batgirl's blood pressure is going to come back just on the high side? Because I would assume it's going to be an alarming visit.
I would say that's probably a good bet. Is there any professional golfer that is expected to win who's from the Philadelphia area? Because we need to get Max on a Philly guy.
Man, I can't think of. I know Harry Higgs, but I don't think he's in yet. I can't think anybody, so hopefully Max's heartbreak will slow down. That was a funny 20. I only saw the clip, or I only saw the meme where it just said Max is gonna suck.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that was mean. And then I listened to the first 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, this guy's in it right now.
Yeah,
he was rock bottom.
He said it out of rage at himself, really, out of self-loathing. He was really saying. It was his way of telling himself that he sucked, but he was just projecting it onto you.
Yes.
I was positive he said, I fucking did it. I did it. When the UCLA kid hit the three. I'm still pretty sure that's what he said.
I am too. He's just a ball of just sad energy that screams at everything. So, all right. We are taping this a week before Augusta. What were you going to say, Jake?
Rocco Immediate, who's known for being in second to Tigers from Pennsylvania.
Okay, all right. So Rocco is
it's like the most famous second place finish
ever,
right?
Let's go, Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco. Yeah, you can see him saying that. Yeah, that's definitely Max. All right, so where's the mental app? Because we've obviously had you on before the Masters before. The famous time when I was like, can you win this? And you were like, I think you can win this now. I am confident. I feel good. Do you feel the same way, or are we all on the same wavelength?
Yeah, we are on the same wavelength. I'd say, obviously, this is the best standing I've had going into any major, let alone just Augusta. So I think, as much as sports are just about who's the best at what they do, golf, obviously, you have to peak at the right time, and you have to, your game has to show up at the right time. So I just say that going into it, that just seems like the only thing. I mean, I like what I've been doing. I like where my game feels. I like where my head's at, but handling the pressure and doing all that will be different. Having expectation will be a bit different, but I mean, I really do like my chances. I like the golf course. I haven't had much success on it yet, but I just feel like I go in there and put a bunch of excessive pressure on myself just to play well. I would be lying if I didn't say that last year I was really prominently thinking about making the cut for the first time there. So this year the goals are set a lot higher, but everything's kind of lining up well, and so I do feel good. I feel the best I probably could feel going into a major. So I got that going for me. I know I have Batgirl's cold streak running, but at some point that has to turn around even for that psycho.
No, It's good because he's rooting against you now.
Well, so he is going to have money on you.
He's the one person that you want cheering against you the hardest.
True.
Because he
That's
can't win
fair
anything.
Point.
So you've made a very good enemy to have. You're dialed right now. Is it fair to say you're dialed? I've heard people say that I've been playing a lot of PGA Tour 2K video games, and they
I've
say
been
like,
watching.
oh yeah, we actually need to talk about Hank. So the Hank
Man.
clip of him trying to get out of the bunker.
Which one?
He's at Augusta. He's trying to get out of the bunker. He's chipping downhill. He's shooting like I don't even know what you call like a 12 bogey on a hole. You told me that
We call that a Hank.
we call it a Hank on tour.
Yeah.
You told me that the fellas were laughing at it. Were you showing it to other golfers and everybody was just having a good laugh at Hank?
We were on the range in Austin. It was for the video. It wasn't the bunker one, which I saw yesterday. It was the one where he hits, he puts it off the green on 9, and then you say bite, and we all lost it. So I saw it in the morning, and then I was showing Joe, and I was showing my buddy Edward and some of the other players. And I mean, as funny as the video is, you guys laughing, like I don't PFT. Like I know you're part character. Obviously, unless your name really is PFT. But you guys laugh a lot. We listen to you guys laugh a lot on the show, but every once in a while we'll get like a true, genuine laugh. Like when Max was going through it last week, you had the funniest laugh ever because neither of you guys could stop fucking giggling, and we were all laughing at that by the end of it. So then I see Hank's bunker video yesterday. I saw that one last night. And I've just never seen. I mean, I just don't understand. I just don't get it. Like, I don't get how it's that hard. Maybe I need to try playing it. But man, that shit is fucking hilarious.
The game's not that hard. You're right.
Frustrated
Okay.
Hank. Frustrated Hank is a top character because he gets so angry
gets so
at himself.
quiet.
Yeah. He just because I can see it in my face. Like I can see it in my head. He just has his tongue out and he's focusing so hard. He does his face where he has his tongue like halfway out, and he's just like,
And he talks the most shit of anybody.
Yeah.
And the second something goes sideways for him, he just shuts up and he pretends that his mic doesn't work, that he is accidentally muted. And then he'll come back
It's
2
so
holes later.
good.
He's so bad at that game.
yes.
Usually you go to play video games to kind of get away from, all the frustration. But he plays golf and then goes straight to struggle at Augusta National.
Yes. All right. So, speaking of the course, we're big course guys. What's the 1 or 2 holes that we should be looking out for this year that you're like you have circled? Like, hey, I gotta have a good strategy here, so we know what to watch when we're watching all weekend.
Well, I'll lead with, I know you guys are big fans of, the course winning, and I saw a lot of rain next week, so you guys might have a tough week there. I think it'll be soft, so might be a lot of birdies. Big hole, I think 13 always plays. They changed it a little bit this year, but that one always seems to be really important. 13 and 15 on the back 9. And then on the front, 4 and 5 are the 2 hardest holes on the front 9. So those 2, I think when you see people play those 2 well, you'll see somebody who's probably going to have a good chance. Usually you see a lot of birdies on the back 9 and the front 9. If you shoot anywhere between even and 2-3 under, that usually sets you up for a great day. But I mean, the whole golf course is pretty damn awesome. PFT, you play it all the time.
I do.
It's a pretty great golf course. So there's a lot of holes I could say, but those seem to stick out.
Well, I usually only play the first 9 holes because Hank quits after 9 every time.
that's
So
fair.
I don't know
Understandable.
I don't know what the second 9 is like. Did you just call out the course? It sounded like you just called out the course.
I mean, I'm coming for birdies. I'm coming for blood. So someone's got to puff their chest out to it at some point.
Yeah,
You just said that there's going to be some low scores out there.
I like it.
I think there might be.
When are we going to know what the course is going to be like? If it's going to show its teeth or not? Is it during the for you specifically during the par 3 competition? Are you going to?
That's usually a telling sign, yeah, because I'm going for it this year. Just you see 2-3 holes in one, you know the course is getting a little nervous.
Yeah. Okay, so what's our plan? You don't know your pairings yet. What's our plan if they do pair you with Tiger? Are we gonna have a better plan than the British Open when you melted into a puddle? We got to stay mentally strong.
So if I play with Tiger, I think we can use the Open. I forget what you call it, a pool of tears.
Yeah,
or something.
you were melting. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
this guy, I love
so-
him so much. Oh, I don't even know how to shoot my own golf shots.
Yeah, it's shooting them wrong. I think it'll go a lot better. And that would be wild to play with them in back-to-back majors, so I doubt that would happen. But I think I'll be, I got it out of my system. I got the tears out of my system. The Kleenex has been removed from the bag. I think I'm pretty ready for that again.
Okay, and now who would you like to be paired with? Like who, if you get paired with them, everyone's gonna be like, all right, Max, you play well with this person.
Oh, who I play well with? I think I'd like to play with Justin Thomas. I think that'd be a good one.
Okay.
I do think like the live thing's gonna be funny because like I feel like anybody who's playing with Phil or Cameron Smith or DJ or Brooks, it's just going to be like none of us really have any bad blood, but they've like made fans or whatever have made it out to be like it's going to be so awkward. So I think that would be quite funny just to see the reaction. I'm sure I'll get a lot of texts like, oh man, do you think you guys are going to talk today? And yeah, it's really not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
So I think that would be fun. But yeah, I think playing with Justin Thomas, I usually play quite well with him. And so I think that would be a good sign that the powers that be at Augusta are looking out for me. So something like that.
Max, just a pointer. They're called patrons at Augusta, not fans.
Oh, patrons.
Use
Yeah,
the
but I
F
mean
word.
fans like that'll be on the internet. Patrons at the golf course who are not allowed their phones probably won't be tweeting me, or else by penalty of death.
Yes. Let's also just say right now, for any AWLs that are lucky enough to get to Augusta, which I would say this is probably the one tournament you won't get called a pervert a lot, because
I'm looking forward to that.
Our fan bases probably can't afford it. We've never been to Augusta. We just sit on the outside while all the rich people get to go to Augusta. But let's just say if there are any AWLs that are there, maybe just a positive like, hey Max, you're doing great. You're doing great.
That would be
keep going.
That'd be great. I've been wrestling with this. I've been talking to Lacey about this. She's like, man, I really hate that they call you pervert. And I said, yeah, me too. But I was like, you can't say like, stop calling me that, because we learned in second grade that you can't do that. So I will say this. I'm really excited for a week of peace. Because that has become, I don't know how this works, as I'm only a one-time Takey Award winner. But I'm hoping that whoever wins it this year will take that crown and everyone will forget. I think that would be quite nice. But I would say that to any AWS that are there at Augusta National, I would recommend not calling me a pervert there, because I don't think it's going to be received super well.
Correct. Correct.
I do. There was a guy who got kicked out, I heard, at the Players Championship because security said you got to stop saying that, and I guess he said it again. And it was kind of internet in real life, because I'm sure he was complaining like it's a joke from a podcast, and the lady's like, I don't fucking care.
Right.
At the end of the day,
I don't listen to that, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You're still calling him a pervert.
Yeah.
Yes, people seem to miss that. Like, you'll hear a couple of snickers when someone says it, and then a lot of people will be like, hey man, like, chill. And I'm like, thank you. Like, this is real life.
Yes.
No, I'm on your side on that one. Like, we can't say like, do not call him a pervert, but you will be kicked out of Augusta if you say that to him. And we want you there cheering on Max for the long weekend and well into Sunday afternoon.
We should start
deep into it.
Yeah, we should just start, instead of calling Max a pervert, just say he's Italian. Everyone will know what you're saying.
Great.
Say Forza.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe after you hit a good tee shot, be like, "That's a spicy meatball."
Wait,
that's
see this shit. That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
The other one isn't.
Yeah. Okay. So we can work with that. That. All right. So I really hope that I forgot the whole live angle. Like, I hope they put like Phil with Rory or Phil with Tiger would be so great. Oh my God.
Sergio, Rory, and Tiger Phil are two that I just think would be that would be a spicy meatball right there. That would be a chef's kiss Italian hand.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Yes.
Max, I don't know if I need to call you out on it, but the internet at large called you out. Are you a slow player now?
Oh, I'm glad this is up. No, that video's 52 seconds. We get 45 seconds to hit a shot, so that was too slow. I understand it looks way shittier than when you walk around, but I wanted to check, because I've always thought of myself as quite a fast player, and so I went like, we can look up how like our average time or whatever. So I looked it up, and I am not slow. So that made me feel good. But that was like a perfect understanding of the internet. One clip of one putt and that's just the way the world works now.
Yeah. You know what it was?
I'll wear it, but at least I found out that I am not.
In this one clip that's going around, it's Max putting. You're reading a putt from both sides of it, and the cinematography on the clip is just incredible.
It was very good.
It makes it seem way longer than it is because it cuts to you, it cuts away, back to you, and you're in like a different position the second time they come back. And then there's a guy waiting on a bridge for you to finish putting, and then the camera cuts back to you, and you're still reading the putt. So, like, yes, as the stopwatch goes, it wasn't exceptionally slow, but I heard rumors out there that you were apologizing for your pace of play, and I wanted to see where we were at with that.
As a fan of golf, I understand that it looks like shit, so I would like it to be faster. I didn't really put two and two together that the clip was that short, so after I apologized, I realized it wasn't that bad. But I will say this, shout out to the producer and the cameraman. They must have been loving that. Like, back to the guy who's playing who's about to jump in the lake. Yeah. All right, back to Max standing a different direction. All right, back to that guy. Looks like he's crying. Okay, back. He's mad at Max. See if he's got a knife. Like, that guy was he went from like a sports producer to like a daytime Emmy producer so quickly, and I was pretty impressed with how that all laid out. I was a fan of that video.
Yeah, I don't want you to change anything about your game right now. You're in the zone, Max.
Yeah, I won't. Don't worry.
We're fully gassing you up. We're 100% homosexuals going into the Masters.
Don't watch any YouTube videos about your swing. I did that and it fucked me up.
Yeah, no, I've learned from your mistakes. Yeah. I wonder. I was listening to somebody you guys had on sometime last week about your theory, which is accurate to golf, that if you don't like your score, you just make the score you want it to be and write that down.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Augusta.
Yeah.
It's not a theory. It's a fact. I wonder if Augusta's removing the erasers essentially to forbid this kind of activity, because that would be a pretty easy way to win the Masters. I feel like I was doing some studying, and I feel like that was I've been working on chipping and hitting, but I have not really thought about pencil whipping too much, and that seemed like not a bad idea.
This is the shit that I wish golfers. I know that there's rules and they don't want to be, getting in trouble, but like if you maybe get an injury on the course and you're going to withdraw anyway, just put like a 62 and have them ding you and then just walk off.
There is a story. This girl got in trouble in college, but back in college, now we have a guy who walks with us and puts in our score each hold, like update, obviously for fans, patrons, if you will. And like it's big on like gambling. Obviously in college, it's a lot different. It's just your parents watching the scores online. But every 3 holes you tell, there's a volunteer standing on the green and you say, hey, I went like 4-3-4. And they typed that in or whatever. So she decided she was going to fuck with everybody at regionals, which is a big event. And so she told the person, I just went 2-3-2. I went 1-3-3. So she's like 9 under through 9, and everyone's wigging out. And she realizes halfway through this might be a problem because the other coaches are also looking at these scores to see what place their team is and all that stuff. So she started going like 8-5-5, 5-7-4, like trying to even it back out. And I think she might have got like suspended because like completely fucked with like the nature of the golf tournament. So I've always thought about maybe if my walking score was ever just in a silly, goofy mood, if they were like, you know what, fuck it, hole in one on number 8, the par 5, that was the greatest shot in the history of the world. Max Homa is now leading the Masters.
Yeah, wait. So this guy, that's a great story. That woman has a great sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
So the person walking with you doing the score, do you ever catch them doing like the classic, like standing at the green being like, all right, 1 and then 2 and then like, like every guy's had that moment where like, wait, did I hit another one there? Like, you ever see him like trying to actually do it in his head?
So I think what they do is they have a piece of paper or something like that, and they write down like a tally by each, because they have to do 3 people someday, so that would be tricky, right? And they do a tally, and I've always wanted to see, like Kevin Na one time made a 16 on a hole. People have made like 14s and 15s, and like I always want to see that tally line. This guy just scrambling to fucking like how like he's like literally doing math to try to figure out what score to type in. But yeah, I've never seen the finger counting, but I will now. I'll keep my eye out for it.
Okay, all right. So Max, I have 2 last things. One is you need to just stare into your son's eyes before you start on Thursday. So like long stare, This is what I'm doing it for.
Perspective.
Maybe a little tears. That's fine. Just get the soak in the perspective. Okay, soak in it.
It's funny you say that because my now 5-month-old son told me just 2 days ago that he said these are his words, not mine. He said, "Daddy, I believe you're going to win the Masters, and you're going to shove it right in Batgirl's face."
Yes.
He said those words. Yeah, it was pretty awesome,
What a cool
considering
kid.
that he hadn't spoken any words before, and he just strung along such an eloquent sentence.
Did he also say? I thought I saw it on Twitter that he also said, "Hey, Daddy, is it true that the night I was conceived, you were being a real pervert?"
I didn't know he had a Twitter account. It was probably a burner, so I'm gonna need to go check his phone. But I wouldn't put it past him. The way he's been speaking to me, I would not put it past him.
Okay, all right. Then my last question is, what do you think about your Dodgers this year?
It's odd. I mean, this is like total fandom, but it's odd. I feel like every other year when we like spent just a zillion dollars, there was so much pressure to win the World Series or bust. And this year, I almost feel like maybe that will be the key to us winning the World Series again. Not
2020 didn't
put
count.
an asterisk. Okay, well,
Yeah.
but winning it again. So I don't know. It'll be a fun season. It's actually quite fun because everybody, for the last 8 or 9 years has like in the division, like all my friends from Southern California, will be like, "Oh my God, you guys just spent so much fucking money. Oh my God." And now like the Padres have just decided that, their credit cards work and they're just shelling out cash. So now I'm just like, have fun this year. If you guys don't fucking win, it's a complete and utter loss. So
Yes.
I've had to deal with that for the last decade. So enjoy that. So I look forward to hopefully the Padres flaming out and the Dodgers somehow backdooring it. But I'm with you. I think last podcast you guys talked about something about how fandom is rooting for your team and hoping they win, but it's almost more fun when the teams you hate suck.
Yep.
So if the Dodgers do, in fact, not excel as I'm hoping they will, I will truly enjoy myself rooting against the Padres and Giants this year. So I feel good. I mean, they still got a really good lineup, but it's obviously a bit different than when they just pulled up the Brinks truck to just about anybody they wanted.
Okay,
Well, at least
so that
you've
was
got
our-
the Lakers, and they're really good.
Yeah.
So you don't
Fuck
have to.
you,
Yeah.
PhD. That's
Yeah,
so
you're too
mean.
short. You're too short.
It's
Also,
so hard.
just want to let everyone know, all the listeners, that was our baseball preview. So
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Go
That was our entire baseball preview.
We have Belly this year, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he finds it because he's awesome. But it's always weird when you have guys on the team, for a long time and then they dip out. But at least he's still in blue and white.
Yes.
So I guess I can kind of get down with it.
Yeah, the Cubs are going to be my line about the Cubs this year is they're going to be sneaky, not bad. Take that however you
It's a really
want.
good twist.
Yeah.
That's a very good twist.
I've got a one-team rivalry. As long as we're not as bad as the Athletics, then I'm happy with the national season.
That's
It's
fair.
a race to the bottom. Last thing, Max, when you win the Masters, which you can do physically and mentally,
Thank you.
you have to agree to come on Part of My Take for at least 5 minutes that Sunday night.
Oh man, you'll have whatever y'all need. That's easy. I'm gonna be wearing a green jacket and smiling ear to ear. So yeah, I'm very in. I will be royally wasted by the time I get on. I'm sure.
Not to put any pressure on you, but I'm going to bet on you so much I might win more money than you do.
I hope you do, man. That would be awesome.
That would be such a fun
I would be so happy if that was the case. What I hope happens is that you win the most money anyone's ever won on a single bet, and somehow Batgirl like his like account fucked it up, and he did bet on Rocco Mediate, and he's not even playing, and he's going to be cheering the whole weekend. He's going to cry tears of joy, and then he's going to go to look at his account to see all the commas, and he's going to say it's going to be red again, and I'll just be so happy.
Yeah,
He's a loser.
I think we're all loading up on you.
Yeah.
It's Max of the year.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Ready.
This Monday is either going to be a great day or a fucking terrible day for me.
Yeah. No. Great day. So let's stay
Great day.
positive. Max, thank you as always. Good luck in Augusta. We'll be cheering you. We'll be rooting. We'll be watching everything and everyone. Just spicy meatball. He's a spicy meatball. That's what we're
Spicy
going with.
meatball. Thank you guys.
Yes.
And thank you guys for having me on. This has been a nice running 4-year tradition. So I'd like to keep this one going. Also, Jake, hi. I love you. You're the nicest man in the world.
Oh.
It's a shame I don't get to
Max.
see you.
Oh.
But yeah,
Good
I'm
luck
looking
next
forward I'm looking forward to this. This should be fun.
Yes. All right. Awesome. Nothing for Billy?
He can send me an animal video if he'd like, but
Okay.
I'm not guaranteed to watch it. But
Okay.
if that kind of worked last year, so
I think maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday if you're in contention. Or
yeah.
you're like
Then
sniffing
if I'm in
around.
contention, send me something fucked up. You're
It's gonna be
good.
super graphic.
Not to get all parental, but it's time we had the talk. You know, the one about that 3-letter word that ends in X? You've probably experienced it a few times in your life, might experience it a couple times more. No, not that one. I'm talking about a tux. And when you need a tux, the best place to go get one is the Black Tux. The Black Tux makes it super easy to get an on-trend, top-quality, guaranteed-to-fit tux without ever leaving your house. Here's how it works. Take the Black Tux Fit Quiz, pick the style you want to rock, and boom, your tux is delivered to your door 10 days before the day that you need it. That's plenty of time to try it on and make sure that it wears you well. And hey, if the fit's not quite right, say hello to the Black Tux Fit Guarantee. Order a better size within a day or two of receiving the less than great fitting one, and they'll send another one right away at no extra cost. And if you'd prefer an in-store experience, the Black Tux has showrooms across the country. Their expert fit specialists will help you find the perfect style tux or suit and make sure that it fits just right. We love the Black Tux. We had the Black Tux delivered for the Sweet 16 show. I had a nice classic black tuxedo. Big Cat, you wore a blue suit.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All the boys were fitted out in black tuxes. They look great. They felt great. Black Tux is great. If you have a wedding, prom, or special event, the Black Tux is the best place to go when you need to buy or rent a tuxedo. Head to theblacktux.com/PMT. Use code PMT. Save $30 off your order. That's theblacktux.com/PMT. Promo code PMT to save $30. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Things that matter to you in your 20s might not matter to you in your 30s. You might find different things make you more upset as you get older, different things that made you upset when you were younger. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding those things, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way that we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/PMT today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/PMT. And now here's Shane Bacon.
Okay, we now welcome on our good friend, recurring guest. It is Shane Bacon. You can find him on Twitter at Shane Bacon. You can listen to him on his podcast, Get a Grip. He's also got a book out, The Golfer's Zoo. So go buy it right now. Let's go, Shane. You're doing everything. We have you on to talk some Masters. We're taping this before Masters Week, but we're running this Masters Week, so it is Masters Week. Let's start big picture. Is anyone better? Or is anyone going to beat Scotty Scheffler? Because it feels like for the first time since Tiger's run in the early 2000s, it's like Scotty Scheffler's playing at a different level than everyone else, and it's going to be hard if he plays even 90% of his best to beat him.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the whole Scotty Scheffler experience was last year it seemed not like a fluke. I mean, he won in Phoenix, he'd obviously won in Bay Hill, and he'd won the match play, but young people don't win at the Masters. Young players win everywhere else, but typically it takes a bit of time to get experience on the golf course and to not be intimidated by the whole fact that you're trying to win a green jacket and to join like the most exclusive club in sport. And the fact that he was able to do that, and then he continued on and played well at the U.S. Open and nearly won there, and then already has a win this season. I think it's a great point in terms of who can beat this guy, because he obviously hits the ball as far as anybody out there, which is very important at Augusta, but it's his hands and his chipping around the greens that I think was so impressive last year and continues to impress me in terms of how he goes about his business. I mean, this is a guy that literally chips in what feels like every round. Mm-hmm. And when you think back to that final round last year, it seemed like he was kind of starting to do what young people do on Sunday at the Masters, and he hits that bump and run on 3 and it goes in for birdie, and the rest, is part of Scotty Scheffler history. So I would say he's my favorite. with the way he's playing and the way he played in Austin, headed into this golf course, and knowing that if you play well at Augusta, you typically play well at Augusta year in and year out. I think he is the favorite going in, and it's going to take monumental efforts to kind of knock him off that, because he doesn't seem intimidated by the other players and by the moment there at the Masters.
Yeah.
More importantly, what is Scotty's style when it comes to his sliders at the Champions?
So
Have we figured that out yet? Because my theory is it's just like seasoning salt that he puts on at the end. He's like, now it's Scotty style.
So sliders to me are best untouched. I don't need a lot on a slider. Burgers are a different story, but to me, maybe a pickle, throw cheese on there, but I don't need more than that for a slider. Yeah. I think it was UPFT that said he's going to lick all of them. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That been his approach?
That might have been Big Cat. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little kiss on each slider.
I just want to see Gary Player's face if Scotty walked by and licked his slider before he consumed it. But that'll be a question I think that'll pop up in the press conferences. What is Scotty's style for a slider? I'll be very interested. I'm from Texas. I don't really think we have a slider feel that is any different than other places, but I guess we'll find that out.
It's like when dads say, like, I serve this one up dad mode or whatever, and they just mix ketchup and mustard together. It's like, that's dad's special sauce. I think it's probably going to be something, maybe like a touch of barbecue sauce on top, and now it's Scotty's
Typically,
style.
It's just when I overcook stuff, I say that's my own style,
Texas
right?
style.
It's like, that's just well done. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
A real golf question about Scotty's play. At his peak, he does seem like he's the best. But what about Jon Rahm? If we've got peak Jon Rahm going up against peak Scotty Scheffler, who wins that?
PFT, I know you've become a dimple head, as you call it. I know you're really obsessed with the game, and you understand that when you're really dialed, it's tough to be taken down. I mean, unless you're playing Big Cat at Shinnecock, it's almost impossible to beat certain players. On the golf course, I would say right now, if Scotty Scheffler's playing his best golf, it's the best in the world. And that is definitely not something I would have said 6 months ago. I think 6 months ago it would have been Rory, or it would have been Jon Rahm, or even Cameron Smith, with the way, obviously, he played at St. Andrews. But to me right now, with the way Scotty Scheffler is able to get the ball in the hole in and around the greens, I think his best is the best in professional golf.
Okay.
Interesting. So the other big storyline for this Masters is obviously the Live guys showing up. Last year was a little weird because they hadn't played, some of them weren't officially in Live. They hadn't played a Live event yet. This year, Live is established as much as it can be. You have the Scotty dinner, the green jacket dinner, and then you have the pairing. So is it going to be awkward, do you think, at this dinner? Do you think that it's going to be like, hey, fuck you guys? Or does having a green jacket, that exclusive club, trump all, and they kind of put it aside and go with the manners route?
I think some of the players are trying their hardest to make it a little uncomfortable. I mean, you've seen some of the comments from Sergio Garcia, who will be in there at the Champions Dinner. You've seen Fred Couples take shots at a couple of these guys, in the media. I mean, the quotes have been floating around. But I think when they get there, it won't be awkward. I mean, these are adult men having dinner, eating sliders. I mean, how awkward can it be? As you guys have said, it feels very much like a Ruby Tuesdays or an Applebee's menu for these guys. You can't be unhappy at an Applebee's. I will say I did watch a Super Bowl at a Chili's once alone, and I was relatively unhappy that night. I was on the road, and you don't want to go to like that type of restaurant and watch the actual Super Bowl. There's not a lot of cheering and happiness happening around that bar.
My perfect date with myself. Go to Chili's solo. The Super Bowl's on TV. You eat all the chips
for yourself.
You drink all the margaritas that they sell.
Yeah. You know what? You have a limited mindset, Shane.
Yeah, you're not unlimited.
Yeah, you guys might be right. Can I say though that the fact that they now put the calorie count on the Chili's chips and queso, when you eat that whole thing by yourself, it does make you feel like a lesser person. It's like 3,000 calories.
I feel like it actually is more of an accomplishment. I'm like, look at the score I put up. I put up a high score today.
Take that skillet queso.
Yeah.
Maybe skillet queso's on the sliders.
Yes. So, all right. Yeah. So when we get to the actual tournament, there's obviously going to be some Live guys paired with, it's just the nature of it. They're not going to put all the Live guys together. So, do you expect anything in that respect? Like, I'm guessing we're just going to make every little interaction, we're going to overblow it and be like, oh, look at this cold stare from Rory. But is there anything to expect there to look out for?
I don't think at the Masters you're going to see that. I think these players understand that of all the golf tournaments they play in, this is the one where you don't make it about yourself or, strife among players and people. I think we are going to talk about that in terms of media. I think we will blow this up as we get closer and closer to Thursday. But when you get out on the golf course, I'd say people are going to be relatively calm and, respectful and gentlemanlike. But I will say this, Big Cat, of all the microphones in golf, it's the loudest one is at Augusta. And if you are going to say something, if Phil Mickelson does want to take a shot or does want to say something about another person, if you say it there, you understand that everybody's going to be listening. So if there is a place that you could make a comment that's going to float around outside of golf circles, it could happen here. But I don't expect too much of that in terms of the players. I think they understand that at this golf tournament, at this place, at this golf course, understanding what the Masters is all about, they'll probably be gentleman-y, I'd say.
Okay, we need Phil mic'd up because Phil is the one guy that if you just get him talking, he'll just say a bunch of shit and then afterwards be like, whoops, didn't mean to say that.
He's done it before. I mean,
Yes.
if you think back to that Ryder Cup press conference years ago where he's literally sitting next to the captain taking shots at him. I mean, Phil is he's a lot of things. He's a very smart guy, and Phil understands what he says. He understands that it's calculated, and if he says things to ruffle feathers, he's doing it on purpose. So I would say if there's anybody to kind of put odds on that might, maybe go that way, it would be Phil Mickelson. But I also understand that this is Phil's favorite week and it's his favorite golf tournament. And I think the last place he wants to upset people at is Augusta National. So I think he'll be subdued to a certain extent.
So we've got a lot of listeners out there in the younger demographic, a lot of kids that are massive fans of the Aces on the Live Tour.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old son, Chris, he can't get enough of Patrick Reed. Who is the one person from the Live Tour that you think could actually win the Masters, and how awkward would that be if a Live player won at Augusta?
I'm going to go back to Cam Smith. I mean, obviously that's taking the last major winner, so that's maybe an easy way out, but he's had a ton of success at Augusta, played great here last year. He's got a great short game and he's an incredible putter, and those things are very important at this golf course in particular. So I would say he'd be on the top of my list. Dustin Johnson has won a green jacket before and typically plays well in majors and gets himself in top tens. But I think of all the storylines going in, that is the one I'm most interested in, is considering how little amount of golf they've played in a professional environment. I think they'll only have 3 live events going in to the Masters, including, the weekend that we just had in Orlando. They haven't played a lot of tournament golf. And tournament golf it's like going to the gym. I mean, you're not going to be, you're going to be way more sore if you take breaks, weeks off going to the gym, and your mind isn't going to be as sharp for tournament golf if you're not playing as much as like Rory and Scotty and Max and that whole crew who's been playing, since the wraparound season last year. So if somebody does win, a live player does win, I will take it as more impressive than maybe anything else, because again, I mean, they just haven't gone through the reps.
It might be too quiet out there for him. Live is golf but louder.
Yeah.
So they might not be used to all the silence at Augusta.
Yeah.
Maybe like headphones, like Tin Cup when he was doing the qualifier, like maybe bring a stringed headphone.
Yeah.
Like Big Cat does when he's traveling. I mean, that would be a play.
It would be funny if they
play some Slipknot.
Yeah, it would be funny if we also could watch the live golfers on CW just out of Masters cut a deal with CW and we're just watching them.
Simulcast? Yeah.
Just so they
That's
feel
the
comfortable.
featured group coverage.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. These are the live dudes.
Yes.
Would there be anything that would stop the Live Tour from turning the Masters, having their own tournament inside of the Masters? So whichever golfer plays the best at Augusta, they also know that they're going to get $10 million from Mohammed bin Salman.
I mean, it's a suggestion. I'd put it in the box. I don't think it's a dumb idea. I just say who's the low live guy, and if you win, it's double. I mean, you never know. They throw money around a lot.
Yeah, they might not let them play next year if they do something like that.
Yeah, that's
now
true.
that I'm thinking about it out
That's
loud.
true.
That's also a big part of it.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the course. What have they changed, and what do you expect from the course? Because we're big fans of the course on this podcast.
Yeah, 13 will be a different experience. If you guys remember it, I know you do, last year, 15, which is the other par 5 on the second night at Augusta, they made it longer. And considering the weather we had last year, the wind was into the player's face. We didn't see as many players going for 15. In years past, like in Tiger's prime, I mean, he was hitting 5 and 6 irons into that par 5, and we saw last year players going for it hitting 3 woods. They did the same thing to 13. So 13, I think, is the most famous par 5 in the world, and I think a lot of golf nerds call it the best hole in the world in terms of golf. They've added distance to that, and they've elevated the tee as well. So you're going to see a lot more drivers off the tee at 13. I think you're going to see a lot more balls left in the trees and in the creek there. So I think they're bringing in the big numbers again at 13. So these par fives on the second 9, where we used to see a lot of eagles and a ton of birdies, you're still going to see eagles and birdies, but you're also going to see, 6, 7s, and 8s, which, brings in kind of the old school way of those par fives back in the day. Curtis Strange in 1985 had a great chance to win the Masters, and he made 6 on 13 and 15. He was hitting lumber into those par fives, and that's what we're going back to, which is pretty exciting.
Okay, so another question about the course, and this is maybe just I don't know enough about golf and how these tournaments work. When it comes to where they put the pins, do they deliberately say, like, oh, these guys are scoring too well, let's make it harder as the weekend goes along? Like, do they know already where the pins will be on Saturday or Sunday, or is that something they decide after the round on Friday and Saturday?
I would say they have a good idea of where all of the locations are going to be throughout the week, and the only reason they might change them is conditions. So maybe they have it on a high point, and it's an extremely windy day, and so they decide to move it a little bit. But at the Masters and at Augusta, I think they have a pretty good idea of where the whole locations will be all 4 days, and a lot of them, especially on the second 9, are relatively traditional hole locations. Like, you guys know, at 16 when Tiger won in 2019, that's the same hole location as when he chipped in 05. You know where it's going to be on 17. You have a good idea it's going to be short of the hill on 18. I mean, these are part of the tradition of the golf course and the golf tournament, is putting them in the same spots so fans understand where they're going to be and players do as well.
Okay. I love it when they release the pin locations in the morning.
So great.
So early, you see that tweet go out there, and it's just like, okay, it's golf time, baby.
Yeah.
PFT, you strike me as a guy that might even print those out just to have it around like a bracket.
No, I just
start doing that.
I pick my own, so I map out what I think
smart.
the pin locations are going to be. Then I score myself. It is kind of like a bracket after every day. So if I go 10 for 18, then that's kind of my standard that I hold myself to.
Perfect.
This is a great idea. So it's like a blueprint of a green, and you place where you think it's going to be. That is next level thinking.
Yeah, I predicted in 2017 I had a perfect bracket on Thursday.
Well, no, it's a perfect front 9.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You didn't have the perfect back 9.
It's a perfect front 9 on Thursday.
Yeah.
But they're still talking about it to this day.
Yeah, they are.
It was an incredible job.
Big Cat, can I ask you a question? I've been interested in this.
Yeah.
You guys have gotten way more into golf over the last year and a half, 2 years. What's the power ranking of player at Part of My Take? Like, who's the best and who's the worst?
Well, Hank plays the most. My problem is, unfortunately, Hank and PFT, for me, it's not unfortunate for everyone else, but they're getting really into golf. I don't have the time to golf because I watch every sport, and then I also have 2, soon-to-be 3 kids, so it's hard for me to be like, oh, yeah, I'm watching every sport every day, and then also on Saturday morning I'm going to peace out for 6 hours. So I think it's going to be bad when we start doing more golf content for me, but Hank is the one who plays the most, so he should be the best. Jake is the best naturally. Like, Jake playing his best will beat everyone else, but Hank, how many rounds he plays an insane amount of golf.
It'd be very embarrassing if Hank wasn't the best golfer on this podcast.
Right.
But unfortunately, I think that might be the case. I think Jake is the best golfer on this podcast. And then Hank would be second. I suck at golf. I still haven't played a full, what do you call it, a round?
Yeah.
I haven't played a full round of golf yet, like a full 18. So I think right now if I were to do it, I would probably shoot 140. But we're working, we're working on it.
I mean, got it. You have to start somewhere. I also had an idea for Hank, by the way. You guys, I don't know if you guys know this. You guys do this lottery ball thing. And Big Cat, I know you don't bring it up often that Hank's never gotten it, but
Wait,
Hank has never gotten the number. At least that's what I'm hearing when I listen.
Shit.
And
I didn't even realize that.
I'm gonna text.
Rarely brought
up. That can't be right.
It's rarely brought up. Check the numbers. I was thinking about this for Hank. When he gets it, if he ever gets it,
never.
That's the number he should mark his golf ball. His golf ball, he should personalize his golf ball with that number for the rest of his life.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, he never will get it, but that's a good idea. Like, he never, ever will get it. So, yeah, we'll never have to be there. But I like the idea if, like, in a fantasy world, we're like, yeah, Hank's going to get it, never going to get it. That'd be like, I don't know. Wait, do the old guys, I know the old guys at the Masters, they tee off. Like, why don't some of them say, like, I want to play the whole round? Like, can they do that?
Well, past champions can play.
Okay.
They can play the Masters, but I think the term is they have to be competitive.
Oh.
And so I'm assuming there's some sort of a number that, you have to shoot around. And I also these guys don't want to embarrass themselves, but there's been some shots back in the day, Jack smoking one or Gary hitting it solid. And, it's in a place where the pros, the guys that are going to tee up after him would love to be. So yeah, maybe play one like for like $20 or something.
Yeah, if I'm Jack Nicklaus, I'm playing the whole first 2 rounds. Like I'm playing Thursday and Friday, being like, it's my right. I'm getting to do this. I don't know why he doesn't.
1998, crazy little golf, nerdy golf stat for you. In 1998, Tiger and Jack finished in the top 10 at the Masters.
Oh,
that is relatively wild.
That is
that's
wild.
super wild.
That's incredibly wild. Holy shit. I want to go back to a comment you made and just get more detail on it. You said that young guys struggle at Augusta. Why is that? What exactly is it? Is it just the scene, the stage is too big, or is it the actual golf course that guys struggle with?
Yeah, I would say it's probably 50-50. I think it's a stage, understanding that if you win at the Masters, you're forever in this club. I mean, if you think about Jordan Spieth winning at such a young age, I mean, he's in that rotation for the rest of his life. And I think understanding what that means, I mean, a ton of money comes your way for the next 5-10 years as a Masters champion. But I also think it's golf course. I think it's understanding that of all the golf courses these guys will play all year long, this is the one where knowledge is the most helpful. Somebody like Max, right? Max can go play any golf course and shoot 65, but to truly understand the intricacies of hole locations and which ones not to go at and the way putts will break and tee shots that you want to take on and holes that you want to kind of, pull back on. I think there's so much of that in play at this golf course in particular. I remember Max telling a story at his first Masters. It was 2020. If you guys remember, that was the November Masters, and he played with Fred Couples, who has played, 40 something Masters. And he said on 13, Fred Couples laid up short of the creek and hit it like 5 feet off the ground. And Max was walking up and asked him what the reasoning was that for. And he said, if you hit it high and it's soft, you might get a mud ball. So he just kind of puts it down the fairway and it avoids getting mud on the golf ball. I mean, that is the type of knowledge that you get when you play this place year in and year out. And so, when you look at the average age of winners, it's typically in their 30s, not in their 20s, like we're seeing in other golf tournaments, and especially in the modern era.
I love it. I mean, I love those like intricacies of the Masters that makes it so unique. And I guess it makes sense because these guys can't, like, they can't just play Augusta in like random times in the year, correct? Like Max can't just say, I want to go play Augusta and get a few rounds in to learn more about the course. Can he?
I think you can go on a scouting trip. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think if you're in the Masters tournament, you can go play a day or two, but I mean, you can't go 5 times. You can't go 10 times. I mean, if you want to go and fly up, if you guys watched Full Swing, last year when Jordan and Justin, they went to Tulsa, they played Southern Hills. I mean, you could do that 4 or 5 times if you wanted before the PGA Championship. That's not the case, obviously, at the Masters. And also, Augusta's not open all year round,
right?
Because they're always doing changes and they close it down in the summer. And so, you're not allotted that much time to go out there and do that. So, yeah, when you show up Masters week, and the other thing is the golf course doesn't play like it plays like it does in the Masters, except for Masters week. So you'll hear players say, I was at her 2 weeks ago, but it was almost in theory a waste of my time in terms of tournament prep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And do they pipe in the bird noises on television?
No, you'll see birds. You'll see birds flying around. There's no piping in. This thing is au naturel, baby. It is ready to rock.
Are you allowed to carry your cell phone on the course because you're a journalist?
I can't. I think you've got to be like Van Pelt level.
Okay,
is basically what I cut the line off at. I think if you're Scott Van Pelt or Jim, you might be able to carry it around, but I am not allowed a cell phone on the course.
Wow.
Yeah, Scott has to be ready in case any Mets get injured. He has to be able to fire off some tweet and start, do a selfie of him doing the gritty across the green.
Yeah, exactly. Always at the ready.
Man, that could be a Mount Rushmore of people you'd like to see do the gritty. Van Pelt would be high on the list.
He'd probably rock
is he, 6'6"?
Yeah, I mean, when they bring Darren Ruff back up to the majors, you'll see him do it.
Yeah.
He's going to be pumped.
That's a fact. All right, so give us some other names. Obviously, we talked about Scotty, but give us maybe 3 or 4 names that you got circled, a long shot even, that you're like, these guys are playing great golf and their game fits Augusta.
Yeah, so this isn't a name that I'm pulling from any sort of a weird hat, but I'm very interested to see what Rory does on Thursday, Friday. Rory, if you guys remember last year when he held that bunker shot, he shot 64 in the final round. And after the final round, he said, I'm leaving here with my first positive thoughts at any Masters. And so I'm interested to see how Rory kind of rolls that in. He's been playing great golf. I mean, he made the consolation match of the match play, already a winner this year. So I'm very interested to see how he does. I'm actually really excited to see what Hideki does. You know, Hideki obviously has won at Augusta, but he's kind of been in and out of injury, and he's playing this week I guess last week in Texas. He's playing in San Antonio, which is a bit abnormal for Hideki in terms of his scheduling. So I'm interested to see how he kind of rolls into it and does. And then the other name, and again, you guys have already mentioned this, is one of the best players in the world, but somebody like John Rahm, who we saw play great early in the season, but he hasn't played as well of late. I'm just interested in seeing what John Rahm does, because again, John Rahm is such a good pitcher of the golf ball. And I'd say if you were going to rank skill sets to do well at Augusta, pitching the golf ball is number one. And the fact that John Rahm is so good at that. And then, you know, one of you guys is boys, but the Max Homa ride, for goodness sakes.
Yes.
And the fact that he has now turned probably the worst part of his game in terms of being able to chip the golf ball consistently into a real weapon. I mean, he's one of the best in the world at pitching off fairway lies. I'm so excited to see what Max can do here, because he's obviously been playing great and he's been trending in these major championships. And I only feel like it's a matter of time before he gets himself in contention. So I feel like it's a Max week. I would be shocked if he wasn't, you know, top 5, top 10 headed into Sunday.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, all right. So
I love it. Now, but he did call out the course a little bit. So we just had him on Part of My Take, and he said, it's going to rain. It's going to rain next week. So there's some low numbers out there.
Yeah, but he's a mutter, man. Max is a mutter. I was texting with him yesterday about this. He said the forecast looks bad, and I said that's good for you, because Max is one of those guys that the grosser it gets, the more into it he gets. And a lot of the players, when it gets nasty, it gets wet, you're not playing great golf, that can affect you. And Max is one of those guys that almost plays into his hands. So I would say the nastier, the better for Max.
I like that.
I love
yeah,
it. All right.
nasty.
So the other thing I'm wondering, you say we wouldn't be shocked if Max is in top 5, top 10. How shocked would you be if Tiger is in one of those last few groups on Sunday? Because obviously Tiger, even though he's gone through the injuries, people always will say when he gets to Augusta, it's different. He knows the course better than anyone else. So do you think Tiger has a run in him?
Yes, I do. One of the biggest things for Tiger going into this Masters versus last year, there was a ton of unknown going in last year. Obviously, we didn't even know if he could walk 72 holes. If you remember, the week before the Masters, we weren't even sure if he was going to play. The fact that he played Riv this year, he played in Los Angeles, and he played excellent golf for a couple of those rounds. He shot 67 on Saturday, one of the low rounds of the entire day. The fact that he has 4 rounds of walking a golf course that's not easy to walk, playing competitive golf, having a couple of great days, I think was huge for Tiger's, you know, mental approach to this week. And so we saw some good from Tiger last year. If you remember, he shot 71 on Thursday. I feel like we will see better from Tiger this year. Would I be shocked if he was in the top 5 going into Sunday? I would not be shocked. I wrote an article years ago for Fox Sports that said Tiger was done. I mean, obviously that was incredibly incorrect about Tiger's career. I would be non-shocked if he was in the top 5, but you know, just going into this year versus last year, I feel more positive about him being able to go 4 days on a golf course that's one of the hardest walks of the entire year for the pro golfers.
That would be awesome.
Awesome.
If Tiger was just in the conversation on Sunday, that would really make a lot of people's weekends. I saw
what is in the conversation, by the way. Like what does he need to be come Sunday to be quote unquote in the conversations? Top 20? Like,
yeah.
Is it 6 shots back?
I think he needs. I think it's truly in the conversation. I think he needs to be within like 4 shots of the lead, and it can't be obviously. He's 4 shots of lead, but he's 13th. Like, because you know, there's
right.
Obviously he can't jump that many guys. But if he is, we're waking up Sunday morning and it's like if Tiger Woods plays his best round, he will have a chance to win this. That's kind of where I would be like Tiger's really in the conversation here.
that first page that they show the leaderboard before they scroll to the side. If he's at the bottom of that first page, because with Tiger, I still have it in my head because we've been watching him since, 97, whenever he came onto the national stage. I'm always thinking, like, Tiger could just hit a hole-in-one on a par 4. Like, that thought is always in the back of my head, like, this guy is so much different from everybody else. Just get Tiger on the first page, and I can convince myself he can win it.
And I will say this about the Masters. We were talking about young players at the Masters earlier. I would say this is one of the last golf tournaments that you will truly see players choke on Sunday simply because they understand what comes with this. I think that was a little bit of what I talked about earlier with Scheffler last year, is it was a slow start on Sunday and you kind of had that feeling, okay, maybe he's not ready. And then obviously he proved that to be incorrect. But when Tiger was in the hunt in 19, and he ended up winning. You saw players that don't typically struggle or choke fall apart late. If you remember Koepka, he obviously hits it in the water on 12, but Brooks, who I would say was the alpha male in pro golf at that time over anybody else, and he knew that, finally faced off with somebody that was more of an alpha than he was, and he had great chances on 17 and 18 to potentially get in a playoff with Tiger, and he didn't hit the hole on those putts. If Tiger is around the lead on 11, 12, 13 on Sunday, it matters so much more than anybody else in the field being around the lead, because he understands what it takes to win those things. And there are so many players that don't understand what it takes and how to get it done at this golf course in that type of pressure environment. And so if he's 4 back, 3 back, even going to the second 9 on Sunday, I think there's a real opportunity that, he could pull off number 6.
We are still rooting for Brooks. We want him to step his game back up and to get in the conversation during these majors. But maybe you can tell us from a golf perspective, what's different about Brooks's game now than, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's just all been health. I'm with you guys. I mean, no matter, my thing with the PGA Tour and LIV and this whole quote unquote split is a lot of the guys that went to LIV are still interesting to watch, and they're still fun to root for. I'm talking about Brooks. I mean, Bryson is polarizing, obviously, and people either love him or don't like him, right? And that's good for golf, because golf obviously needs villains and struggles to find those villains. But for Koepka, it's always been health. I mean, he's just been going through a ton of health issues over the last 2 and 3 years. And it's not just being unhealthy, but when you're unhealthy, you also can't practice. And if you're not practicing, obviously, you're going to be losing ground to the people that can go out there and bang balls 100% healthy. That's something Tiger has talked about over the last 10 years of his life, as he just hadn't had the opportunity to go out there and hit as many range balls and work on his game like a Rory could, or a Cam Smith could, or a Jordan Spieth could.
Makes sense. All right, I have one last question. This has been awesome, Shane. Rowback question, rhoback.com. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. Joggers, polos, Q-zips, hoodies, great golf gear. Great golf gear. So you go start with the polo. So maybe start with the hoodie. Gets a little warmer. Go to the polo. Can golf in the joggers. Feel good. So go check it out. Rowback.com. Promo code TAKE. Give us. I'm going to put you on the spot, because I want all the listeners to, if this turns out to be correct, they can be like, man, Shane Bacon's awesome. He knows golf. And if you're wrong, they can be like, fuck this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Give us someone from that we're not talking about, that I won't ask you to have them win, but maybe a top 10, top 20 from back in the field, where it's like, I got my eye on this guy. I think he's setting up perfect for this tournament.
I'll go Jason Day.
Okay.
I know his odds have improved as of late, but Jason Day in his prime, so 2014, 2015, 2016, was a staple on the leaderboards at the Masters. Really had an awesome chance to win, I believe, in 2011, when there was some 7, 8, 9 guys, in and around the lead with about 4 or 5 holes to play. Jason Day has been trending, and his game plays so well at Augusta. Exceptional putter, great pitcher, the golf ball, and has kind of gained some distance this year. So I would say Jason Day, while he's a notable name and somebody that I think 3, 4, 5 years ago we would have already brought up, I feel like the way he's been playing as of late, I would say he is looking at this week as a real opportunity to win a second major in a first green jacket. So I would say Jason Day is the name that I'm looking at. And, I think Joaquin Niemann is somebody that I could see have some success here, just the way he hits the golf ball. And again, in and around the greens, I'd say those are kind of 2 people that I'm looking at that maybe aren't on those, first 5, 6, 7 odd lists.
Okay, so if those guys finish top 20, everyone tweet Shane and be like, thanks for the pick. And if they don't, be like, Shane's a fucking idiot. He should never talk golf again. I forgot one guy. I have pledged it. I will bet on him every single major until he wins one. Will Zalatoris. How are we feeling about Willie Z? I love his game. He seems like a great guy. We've had him on the show, and I'm just pot committed at this point. I'm just going to keep doing it. I've lost a lot of money. He's been very close, but I'm going to keep doing it until he wins a major.
Yeah, I mean, came really, really close last year at multiple majors. Has just also been battling some injury, which is a bit of a bummer, because he was trending in the right direction. I think Will Zalatoris is probably a top 3 or 4 iron player in the world. And if you talk to pro golfers, they say Augusta. I think it's way more about pitching, but a lot of the players will call it a second shot golf course. So I would say Zalatoris is always going to be in and around on the weekend at this place because of the fact that he's just such an exceptional iron player. But, the in and out of injury, battling that over the last, 6, 7, 8 months, I don't love injured golfers going into a place like this because I just don't feel like they've been able to spend as much time on their game. Would I be surprised if Will Zalatoris was in the hunt? Absolutely not. But he probably wouldn't be in my list of 6 people I'd pick if I was, putting together some sort of a Masters pool.
Okay.
Just so it's clear, I'm still going to bet on Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, no, I've made my bed. I've come close. The U.S. Open I remember was on Father's Day, and I had to give like a speech in my house, like everyone just shut up. We're trying to get this win. He ruined Father's Day, but that's okay. Actually, Fitzpatrick ruined Father's Day, not Will Zalatoris. But I'm a Willie Z guy for life.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a cool kid. I've had the opportunity to cover him, back in my FAQS days when he was playing in some of those USGA championships. You knew he was a stud then. You could kind of feel it. I mean, I even got that sensation in and around Scotty Scheffler. He was low amateur at Erin Hills that year, and I got a chance to interview him. And just, you guys know this. I mean, you guys deal with so many athletes. There are young athletes that come in, and they're cool, and they're calm, and they're collected. And then there's that level above that where they almost feel like they're 40-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And Zalatoris was like that, and Scheffler was like that. And so there's been no surprise to me that they've been successful this early in their careers, considering it feels like the head on the shoulders thing is real.
I think Scheffler might actually be46.
Yeah.
I think he was born 46 years old, like as a baby. He's like doing his taxes.
He's golf's
already.
Greg Oden, just dialed and,
Yeah.
and ready to rock and roll.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good joke that floats around the golf circles. The no laying up guys have leaned on that heavily over the last few years about Scheffler being older than he is. But there's a new picture at my golf course, and it's from like the 1800s, and it looks exactly like Scotty Scheffler. I'll text you guys a picture when I go back over there because again, it's an ancient photo and it looks like Scotty.
I think it might be like an Albert Pujols type situation, fake birth certificate for Scotty Scheffler. I think he is.
What was the baseball player? Danny? What was his last name?
Almonte. Yeah,
Almonte.
yeah. He's Danny Almonte. That's what he
go.
is. Except he's just 46. He's always been 46. His birthday, his age never changes. I saw that you tweeted something out the other day I want to ask you about, then we'll let you go. You're competing in a tournament or maybe just a round of golf where you just get one club for the entire round, and you're trying to figure out what the best club to use if you could only use one club for 18 holes of golf. I've always thought it's the 7-iron, and you're thinking about not doing the 7-iron.
Okay, so I didn't write this on Twitter because you guys know how Twitter is, especially these days, and there had been a lot of clapback if I'd have mentioned it. I won the one club tournament last year with a 7-iron. I made 4 pars to close, which I was very, very impressed about. And so I've been throwing out the idea of using a 7-wood, which again would allow me to gain distance off the tee, but the little chippy shots might be a little tougher. And I've had a lot of people bringing up bunkers. So it's really for me between 7-wood and 7-iron. And 7-wood, the reasoning is because Max Homa is a 7-wood guy. I followed in the footsteps of one of my heroes, and I've become a 7-wood guy as well. And I'm really considering it. It is this Saturday at a local course here in Connecticut. And either I'm going to go 7-iron or 7-wood. And it seems like the people at least want to see the 7-wood.
I would actually go putter. Just all putter.
Off the tee?
I can drive my putter 65 yards.
PFT, you need to get I think it was it the Tuttle? It was like an old Callaway putter they had back in the day, and it looks like a 3-wood, and you could absolutely smoke that thing off the tee. So maybe that's a purchase you need to have in the near future.
Yeah, I like the putter, or the chipper putter. You remember those things?
Yes, I have a couple buddies that still use those things. And,
Yes.
Always slightly embarrassing when they pull it out. But hey, if it's effective, who cares?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shane, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Very excited. Masters Week is the best nap of the year. Go find him at Shane Bacon on Twitter. You can listen to him all the time. He's got the book out. Everyone got to buy the book. So thanks so much, Shane. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Big fans of you guys. You guys crush it all the time. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's wrap it up. We got FAQs. Max.
Real quick, Memes wanted me to bring this up. Anthony Rendon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He got suspended 5 games.
Hey, have you heard this one? Another swing and a miss from Anthony Rendon.
Oh, man. That was, I mean, everyone who's been listening to the show, who's been following forever, knows that I have the rule that they should enact in all sports, that every player gets to fight one fan once a year. Because that solves that. He gets to fight that guy who called him a pussy, beat his ass.
He called him a bitch.
He called him a bitch, beat his ass, and then no one's going to fuck with the rest of the Nats because they'll be like, wow, Anthony Rendon beat the fuck out of him. They're all probably tough.
Well, he's on the Angels now.
Angels.
Thanks for bringing that up. He's
Whoops.
another great player that the Nats lost.
Same difference.
But he hasn't been that good since he left the team, so that's a net positive.
Yeah, and he's suspended 5 games.
He's been 5 games. I think that's as close as Rob Manfred would get to saying, yeah, you're allowed to take a swipe at a fan if he calls you a bitch.
Yeah.
Because that's like nothing to
He
him.
grabbed him. It was awesome when he just had him in his grasp.
Yeah.
I could just never let you go.
The funniest part about that was his dad, the guy's dad, was walking his son down and like pushing his son at Anthony Rendon and being like, yeah, this is my son. He's the guy that called you a bitch. Go ahead, say it to his face. And then Rendon tried to slap him. He's used to missing games, so this will be fine for him. You should be allowed to fight a fan for sure.
Yes.
Or at least just slap. Just a power slap. Power
it
slap
would
a
just
fan.
all these fans wouldn't be talking like this if you had the threat of like, this guy can just beat my ass.
Classy or not by Rendon? I think it's classy.
I think it was classy. I think the whole thing was classy.
Yeah, it was like challenging him to a duel. Open hand slap. That's okay.
Joe Biden, invite them both to the White House. Let's figure this out once and for all. All right, FAQs.
Is Man Movie Friday really happening this summer? Ooh. So much of your demo is probably severely lacking in the movies you grew up on. I hate the only baseball dog days of summer, so I need something else to look forward to.
I want to do it. I think we should do it. I think we should maybe test it out in July and see if people like it. And if people like it, we will try to do a few more, and then maybe we'll start doing it every summer. But my idea was, so in college, we would do Man Movie Fridays, and we would watch just like the worst action movie you can watch, and we'd just sit down and watch it in the middle of the afternoon and get drunk. So we'd watch Bloodsport, which is actually an incredible movie. What was the other one? Fuck. Now my brain is not working right now.
Under Siege.
Under Siege. All the Seagal movies. Hard Target. Cobra. There's so many good movies that are just action movies with cheesy dialogue. It's basically like watching like porn, but instead of fucking, they just beat the fuck out of each other because like the dialogue's that bad. Best of the Best 2, maybe my favorite movie ever. So I think we should do it. I think we should do it.
I think we should do it. Commando is another one I would add to the list. Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was his like coming out movie. Oh, amazing! Ones. He kills a dude by throwing like a steam pipe into his chest and goes, "Hey Bennett, let off some steam."
They're so good. I mean, basically, we could just do all of Seagal's library. Good. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like if Jean-Claude Van Damme or Steven Seagal are in a movie, I will love it. Like that's Roadhouse. Roadhouse is a great movie. That was what I was thinking of. That actually is an incredible. Maybe we'll start with Roadhouse.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Roadhouse has the best line of all time when it's the bad guy says to, I don't know if he says Patrick Swayze or someone else. He grabs him. He says, "I used to fuck guys like you in prison." It's like, wait, so you fuck guys in prison?
I wouldn't. I would not mess with that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we should do it. Don't you guys think? Like July, because we can tape them before the move. We can just sit down, bang through some of them. We'll actually like review them. We'll tell everyone. Maybe we'll release the schedule before July so people have a ton of time to get ready for it.
I think the title of this should be movies that you've watched before that you're going to watch again.
Okay.
I think that's a good concept for podcasting.
Okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll work on the title. Rewatching old movies.
Don't say the R word.
Okay.
Okay.
Watching.
See it again. Seeing movies again.
Seeing movies again.
Yep.
For the second time.
Yep.
Or third.
It's a great name. Was Billy saying Zach Wilson had Patrick Mahomes' potential, the hottest take in PMT history? I haven't listened to an episode in 6 years, and I've been racking my brain trying to find a worse take in show history.
I mean, I've got a very recent one that we could say.
Which one?
I mean, I don't want to say it again.
Oh,
no, Titletown.
Oh yeah,
that was. But I immediately walked that back.
Yeah.
In retrospect,
Billy
that was
truly believe that.
We've had some pretty bad ones. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure when Patrick Mahomes was playing in his first preseason, I saw one clip where he didn't look good, and it was also because the Bears didn't draft him. I was like, this guy's a bust. So that was pretty bad. I was like, you can't play like that in the NFL.
I thought Brandon Staley was going to turn this whole Chargers thing around.
Yep.
I was like, this guy knows ball. This
Yep.
guy has. It's a new C-words team. Forget your father's C-word.
We thought Nathaniel Hackett was smart.
Yep, we did.
Yeah, so there's been some bad, but that one probably is the worst because he stuck by it so hard. Like a lot of the bad ones were pretty quick to be like, okay, that was bad. I mean, we have a lot of in the moment ones too. I mean, the Asante Samuel Jr. is overrated, and then he had 3 interceptions in the wild card game. That was pretty bad by me.
Yeah, I just said Drew Holiday was a role player, and then he dropped 51 points that night.
What do you got, memes? Oh. Dunking from the free throw line's not a take. That was just a dumb idea.
You can still lay it up.
That was the worst debate in Pardon My Take history.
For the listeners who weren't here from the start, how did you decide to start PMT? Lamar to Atlanta, go Falcons.
Oh, good
okay.
question. We're actually telling this story. Oh, we were telling it at
Kirk Goldsberry's class.
Kirk Goldsberry class. PFT and I met online. We basically
Tinder.
Farmers only. No, but we met online in 2014, and then 2015 we finally met. Or no, 2014 we met. He was in Chicago for a wedding. Grabbed a beer. We liked each other. We liked each other's vibe. We only did groping. No fucking at that time. I took him back to my place.
There should be an app like Grindr, but just for dudes that want to meet another dude to start a podcast with.
Yeah. No, we actually, in early internet days, PFT and I would get tagged in tweets being like, I would get tagged in tweets being like, you stole this from PFT. PFT would get tagged in tweets, you stole this from Big Cat. And then we sat down, I remember it vividly. We sat down for a beer in Chicago, and we were like just kind of meeting each other, talking back and forth. And we both had the same thought that it would be funny to claim that Cal Ripken did steroids.
Just to ruin everybody's childhood.
We were like, it would be great. And we like said it at the same time. It was basically like stepbrothers. Like, did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Because we want to claim that Cal Ripken did steroids?
I think we also had the take that when Ragnar, the unofficial mascot of the Vikings,
Yes.
the guy that used to drive out on the
Yes,
motorcycle
who held
before
out.
games,
Yes.
he held out from the team and wanted like $10 million.
it was like a 30-year contract for like $10 million.
Yeah, and we were like, you got to pay him.
Yeah.
You got to pay Ragnar.
That's a guy you need around.
Yeah.
But then Chernin bought Barstool, and the first person I thought of was like PFT. So I told Dave, like, we got to hire this guy. And we were like, let's do a podcast. Funny little wrinkle that doesn't get talked about. Hank was actually thinking about going back to school when I told him, hey, I want to do this podcast with this guy PFT. I want you to produce.
He was actually going to go back to school to become a doctor. So who knows how
going
many
back to Duke.
Who knows how many lives we've saved by preventing Hank from entering the medical profession.
Yes, but Hank legitimately, I remember it very well because he was on the Dixie tour, and he was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. He's having a little like midlife or quarter life crisis, and I was like, just hold on, dude. This guy's about to buy Barstool, and I really want to do this podcast with PFT, and I think you should produce it. And the rest is history.
Yeah, I told several people when I was making that move who are in the business. I let them know, and they responded with saying, this is the worst career move of your life that you could make. Don't do this. I'd like to tell those people to suck my dick.
Yeah. From the back.
Respectfully.
From the back.
One, please do a Masters preview. You're welcome.
Okay.
Oh, done.
2, how long does it take to produce an episode from prep to recording to editing to release? And 3, has Hank ever got the lottery ball?
Well, we sit down. Let's just take like a random Tuesday show. We'll sit down like this one. And right after the game was over, Big Cat and I went up to the hotel room and we wrote for about 3 hours, and we came up with this great script. Max has been taking acting classes as well.
Yeah,
so
he
he's
pretends to be mad.
A great job pretending to be Max.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
He's a crisis actor.
There's a ton of prep that goes
for sad sports fans.
We found him at NYU. He was in acting school, and we were like, this guy, he just seems like a Philly guy. So let's see if we can make that role work. So yeah, we just script everything out, and then we record it, and then they edit it, CGI.
No, they just press a button. It takes them 2 seconds.
Big Cat's mustache is CGI'd into every episode. No, honestly, the show it's tough to say like it writes itself. We don't really do that much prep anymore.
No.
For the show during NFL Sundays, we'll do prep because there's so many games that we have to go back and pull stats from, and we'll write the boomers and all that shit. But for the most part, we know what we're going to talk about. Pull together some research. It doesn't have to be true. And then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, we're very lucky because people somehow enjoy us talking about sports, and we don't. Yeah, there's not a lot of prep anymore. It's like basically the prep happens like passively, like watching games.
Our life is prep.
Yeah, right. Watching games, like, following stories. But yeah, we don't write anything out. We'll have just like the only thing we do outside of the boomers, like sometimes we'll sit down and I'll just say to PFT right before we record, like, let's do the games in chronological order, or like, let's talk about this first.
Well,
that's about it.
Also, Hank spends about like an hour before each episode just copy and pasting Tom Fernelli's Twitter feed.
That's true.
Into a Google Doc so that he can just read those out verbatim.
Yeah, but I would actually like to hear from you, Max. How long does it take to edit? Because we don't know.
It depends on how long the episode is. If it's an hour episode, it'll probably take 2 hours from when we stop to when we start to release it on the back end.
That's why Hank has always told us that we need to do. For the longest time, when Hank was producing the show and editing the show, he's like, let's try to do it faster.
Correct. It's about like double the time of how long we record.
Got it.
That's just for audio. I only do audio. We have another guy, Evan. He does the YouTube.
Shout out Evan. He's
Shout
awesome.
out Evan. It probably takes him about 3 hours because there's just more that goes into the video editing aspect.
But great addition because now we get YouTube up in the morning, which
Correct.
I know a lot of people
Correct.
love watching.
And Memes does most of the clips. So
Billy's actually Billy spends negative time preparing for the show. He'll prepare for the show as he's doing the show.
He gets younger when he walks out of the studio.
Yeah, there's a painting of Billy hanging up in some attic somewhere.
He's that planet in Interstellar where he ages in reverse, or maybe it was they aged faster. But either way, yeah.
But sorry, when Memes gets to it, what does Memes do?
Memes just does most of the clips, so I don't know, an hour.
Yeah, we are
hour and a half.
We're very, very lucky because, like I said, we get to talk about the shit that we like to talk about, sports, all the time, and people like to listen to us. And we're also very lucky because we have an awesome team like Max, Memes, Shane, Evan. They work really hard behind the scenes. They make sure that PMTV's up. They make sure we look good. So yeah, it's crazy to think because it used to be just me, PFT, and Hank, and because we've been successful, we've been able to add people, and it's been awesome. And we love being on the road together. We had a great drive, 3-hour drive, just talking shop, making jokes.
A lot longer
snacks
to edit on the road. I will say that.
What'd you say?
A lot longer to edit on the road.
Yeah,
as well.
the road is not the easiest part of our job, but we can't complain.
This is the last one. Does moving to Chicago make Hank think he gets a better chance at the lottery ball?
Hank has threatened to throw the lottery ball machine out. He keeps mumbling like, I better get it before we move to Chicago. I think that's just solely because he is just like, 9+ million new people in the city in Chicagoland that can be like, hey Hank, have you ever gotten it? That alone scares the shit out of him.
If we let Hank get his hands on the lottery ball machine, he's going to drive to Chicago with it, and then he's going to dump it into the Chicago River like Dave Matthews Band. Dumped all their shit onto a boat full of tourists.
Yes. No, I'm gonna buy, once Hank gets it, I think for the new office, I'm gonna buy a bigger one. Like the one that you actually see on the nightly news when they do the lotto numbers. And like I want it to be like the central point of our new studio where it's like, see this? And then the beauty of it is Hank had never gotten on the new one. So we start afresh.
I think if Hank doesn't get it by the end of next football season, he should have to get the lottery ball machine tattooed on his body.
Agreed. And wait, he just texted me because he's listening. He said, yep, I'll do it.
You know what? If Hank does not reply to the Part of My Take tweet announcing that the show is out within 4 hours,
okay,
he consents to getting the Lotto Ball machine tattooed on his body.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
The ball's in your court, Hank.
Yeah, let's do it, Hank. Is that it?
That's it.
Well, I guess, I don't know. Does he get it in this episode?
Well, let's find out.
Love you guys. Thank you for being my friends.
Okay, numbers time. We've done these
What
back
is
to
this
back
for?
to back.
Whoa, wait,
This
what are
for-
these for?
This is for
What's
Wednesday.
this one for?
This is for Wednesday's show. Oh, you're not going to be part of Wednesday's show.
I'm on vacation.
No, he's going on vacation.
But aren't we recording Tuesday morning?
Yeah, but he's going on vacation Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, you can watch though. Hank's not here. He's never gotten it, so it really doesn't change anything. Numbers.
I'm going to go 17
18.
Okay.
in
I'll
honor
go
of Hank.
6.
And you know what? I'll split it with Hank.
Okay. He's not here though.
99.
99. Evan?
66.
66. All right. I'm going 6. What would you have guessed, Hank, even though you're not here?
I'm on vacation.
13.
Damn.
13.
8th time, tied for second.
Damn, if you had picked 13, you would have won 8 times.
I'm not even here, so.
Yeah. I'm just saying it out loud to the world.
Got it.
Yeah, Hank wasn't allowed to pick a number because he didn't show up for that show.
Love you guys.
African buffalo herds practice democracy and are feminists.